Record it just so I can, just for archival purposes.
Yippee.
But yeah, everyone good? Everyone.
Yep, everyone good.
Everyone ready?
Hell yeah.
I'm
All right.
good.
So this is a follow up to the. This is just me rambling at this point because I've been finding more and more things. It's either stuff that I withhold even in the video and I just didn't want to add like an addendum, or just stuff I found even after I uploaded the video that like literally kept me up at night. Like there's one thing that is so sweet that I want to talk about. But there's also other things that are really, really scary. There is one thing that I literally thought of today, as I was literally making this PowerPoint, that is scary to think about. So that's gonna be what we're gonna talk about. But first, I want to talk about Undertale first. So, if Ralsei is an Undertale, who was he? He's got to be some people, right? So he's obviously the river person, but he takes different forms. Who else can he be? I think I hinted at this like accidentally in the video, but I think Ralsei is Asriel, at least at the end of the game, because whenever you're in the post-pacifist like walk-around zone, he's just there. And I always found it awkward that he was still there, and it feels like a reward for backtrack, like a player reward, like for the player, like here, player, you went this far to go to the very beginning of the game. Here's your reward. Like it's a message to you. And Azrael really just feels like a lore dump with how he's explaining everything, which, you know, Ralsei is someone with just boundless knowledge. He can just do that. And these two lines specifically, like, come on. In the future, if you
I was gonna say,
don't think of it as me, okay? Like, that's him.
that's really funny that you bring up that you like accidentally like hinted at this in your original video, because I didn't think that was accidental at all. Like I remember watching it and I saw this screen cap specifically pop up, and in my brain I was like, holy shit, I don't remember him say, like, especially like in the future, if you see me, don't think of it as me. I was like, oh my God, that's kind of crazy, actually.
Yeah. So, as a kid, I remember like I'm crying I'm bawling. I'm like literally like this is the most I've cried ever in a game, and I go to this moment and I am just dialogue after dialogue, crying more tears. And I think Ralsei is noticing this and like, okay, in Deltarune, I need to look like this character. This is the most connected I've ever seen you to a character. This is who I'm gonna be in the game that I'm gonna be in. And I think that is so just crazy. That's just so cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a really eye-opening moment that was kind of just like, yeah, he's been there this whole time. He's been there in all your adventures. Next up, I want to talk about entry number 17. So, Gasser's entry number 17 has been argued about so much, about what it means. And with Deltarune, I think it is referring to just the creation of dark fountains. And this entry number 17, it's a room that only you can access through save editing from us, the player. And the line, "What do you two think?" is what the entry ends with. And everyone was arguing like, yo, this could be Sans and Alphys, Sans and Papyrus. Now with Deltarune and the knowledge that I've gotten from my analysis. So Gasser is well aware of the player. He's preparing Deltarune, this new future for you. And I think Ralsei as well. He's known Ralsei since Undertale, and he is creating it for you two. Me and the friend inside me. That's what this means! We finally know it! Oh! It's so good. It's so cool. But yeah, I definitely think this is just talking about the player and Ralsei, because how else do you look at this? How else do you see this information other than you, the player, deliberately going there in a room that only you and potentially Ralsei can see? This is what this means. Ah! Alright, and then finally, the last thing from Undertale that I think is, like I said, it's the sweetest thing ever. It is so amazing. It is so amazing how this is all culminated to. So Muffet is a character that exists within Undertale, and like she kind of feels like she's at home in this game, but she actually isn't. Yeah. Muffet exists because of a Kickstarter reward. It was a $500 Kickstarter reward where your OC would just be a playable fight in Undertale. And here's the line that she says at one point as you're playing the game. The person who warned us about you offered us a lot of money for your soul. They had such a sweet smile, and it's strange, but I swore I saw them in the shadows, changing shape. Offered us a lot of money.
What the fuck?
Refers to the $500 reward. Sweet smile, changing shape. That's our boy. That's him. But the problem is, whose Ralsei is it though? Because it can't be us, because, we don't know who Muffet is until we boot up the game. And she's probably like, I don't know. And it can't be Muffet's creator, because she gave away the money. She gave the money away to, she doesn't have it anymore. Who did she give the money to?
I don't know, Toby Fox?
Yes! So Toby's Ralsei communicated with Muffet, and this is the line that she says after you beat her. She says, "Even if you are stingy, you never hurt a spider. Oh my, this has all been a big understanding. The person who asked for that soul, they must have meant a different human in a striped shirt." That's Chris! That's Chris! Ah!
I thought it was Kara. I'm sorry. I'm gonna shut up.
Yeah, get fucking mated, Angelo. Shut the fuck up, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to be an asshole.
Get out!
I'm sorry, Angelo.
This is the sweetest thing I have ever seen a character do. Ralsei, and by extension Toby, loved Muffet so much, he didn't want her in Undertale. He wanted her in Deltarune. But he couldn't do that because the thing was for the other game.
Right.
Hello, my name is Ralsei. What's yours? Oh, pardon my manners. Well, I just wanted to say that you're a wonderfully special person, and that someone really cares about you. So much so that they wanted me to give you this!
But that's not all.
In exchange, I have a proposition. You see, there's this kid in a striped shirt that hates spiders. Like, they'll find joy in stopping spiders and tearing off their legs one by one. And did I mention they're awfully stingy with their money? Sounds awful, right? So how about this? In exchange for this generous donation, you find this kid and tear them to pieces, taking their soul in the process. What do you say? Come on, please. Come on, please. Yes! Yes, yes, yes! All right, then it's settled. I promise you won't regret it. Okay, I am a very busy prince and have other characters that depend on me, so farewell. I look forward to meeting you. I think I found my purpose.
So
It's so cool. It's so cool.
yeah, it is pretty cool.
All right, what's next? Okay, we're gonna go to Deltarune now. A lot of people have been debating on this character. I think I've already mentioned this in call chat a while ago, but a lot of people think this character is evil. I think this character is gonna be nice, cause I believe that Ralsei is Jonkington. So Ralsei is a character that, you know, can exist in any world, but he kind of takes on different forms. But in the Dark World specifically, he is addressed directly, so he can just be whoever he wants. But in the Light World, he can still exist, according to my, you know, whole spiel. But he can't be himself. He has to take on other forms. One of these forms is 100% Jonkington. And I'll explain it here. So Ralsei is becoming more himself as we met him. But because of this, his forms in the Light World are starting to crack. He does not want to be other people. He wants to just be himself. Jonkington is one of the forms, because as we've seen him in chapters 3 and 4, his speech is getting like messed up. There's so many commas in them, and there's so many line breaks. And this line specifically, whatever shape the world takes, I'll be there. That is Ralsei to a T. And he also has game knowledge. Like, he knows how to defeat the Titan, which is something that happens at the very end of chapter 4. So, like, how do you know that other than that you're the character who has the game knowledge in the game that you're in? And at one point when you talk to him in the church, he mentions how he can't grow hair like Caddy, which seems to directly reference the Jonkington grows the beard prophecy. And that makes me think, this is really funny if this is true, is Ralsei preventing Jonkington from growing that beard so that the prophecy is not fulfilled? If Jonkington is the answer to not having this prophecy happen, that's gonna be so stupid, but it'd be really funny. Ralsei is also the bird goner thing that appears. He's with who just joined? Ralsei is also the bird goner thing. This bird is just withholding information in the library, which is a typical Ralsei thing. His speech is also getting messed up because you can find him just next to the lake or that pond or whatever, where Onion Sand pops out of, and he just mentions to don't wait over there because, you know, Onion Sand's not there, and there's scary music there that you don't want to investigate. So Ralsei is that. And something's odd about some of the things that these two forms of Ralsei says. There's mentions of W and D a lot of the time, and it kind of scares me. I feel like Ralsei is finding ways to like sort of make you think like Gaster, WD. Wait, don't. We do what? The capital W and D right next to each other. Sus. It's really sus. But yeah, I think we're getting onto the part where I accidentally like closed the PowerPoint file and like lost some slides, so I'm probably missing a couple things, but I had to remake these to salvage it. But yeah, Ralsei is a selfless character, but we don't really know why. He doesn't think he deserves anything, but the Doctors get their own room, so this isn't a Doctor thing. This is just a Ralsei thing. So there's got to be something that caused him to be like this. What could it possibly be? I thought about this, and I thought about the prophecy. I'm thinking it's the prophecy that's causing this. So, we know that stories in fiction, they are finished from start to finish. Like, there's no fill in the blanks. There's nothing of the sort. However, for the prophecy, whoever wrote this purposely made it so where Ralsei does not have any mention. There's no mention of Ralsei past his introduction. And one of the evidence behind this is the prophecy about the toothpaste boy. The pointy-headed will say toothpaste, and then boy. But it doesn't specify to who. Like, it could be to Ralsei, it could be to Chris, it could be to Susie, it could be literally anyone. But it doesn't say who, to who. He just said that he'll say it. And if we are to think that Ralsei is just, like, never mentioned past his introduction, it makes sense why the Doctors forget him, because he's never in the story. Queen doesn't make him a cage. All these characters don't even know his name. And yeah, it makes me think that Don't Forget song, it just makes more sense, because everyone's forgetting him, and he doesn't want you to forget, the player. So yeah, I think this idea of not writing Ralsei's story is like a double-edged sword, because on one end, no one's remembering him, but on the other hand, it allows Ralsei to be himself. He writes his own story through the actions that he does, and I think he's not realized this yet. I hope in a future chapter maybe this is addressed and will give him very much like just clarification on why he feels this way. I think this is the reason why he feels so selfless, because he doesn't get anything, and he thinks and by extension, his personality just tells him, you don't deserve anything. You are just a role that you play to make people happy. Which is really sad, and I hope he gets through that. But yeah, this part is pretty crazy to figure out, but yeah. Finally, here's the scary part. So, the Mantle game in Chapter 3. It has a room with a shadow figure that mirrors your moves, and there's a hidden Boolean variable named Toriel that turns this figure into a deer. It is extremely strange. No one really knows why this is the case, but it's a shadow figure that mirrors your moves. Is this Ralsei? Is this Ralsei? But if you look in the screenshot there, we're not the one with the controller. In the shadow, at the very end of this whole scenario, you fight Eram or the Mantle guy, whatever. And when you get hurt in the video game, Chris takes damage. You see them like literally like physically feel pain from all this. So they're linked to this game. We're not the one with the controller. This isn't our Ralsei. And it made me realize something crazy. Lightners have Ralseis! This is going deeper into fictional characters. Chris has one. Susie has one. Toriel has one. She was dreaming. That Ralsei is in her dream right now. And like, that guy in the game is Chris's Ralsei. And this Ralsei also exists in the curtain. If you go to this curtain in the S rank room, that all dirty, shabby little room, this character mentions, can I look like this? Can I dream like this? And at one point, this character gives you a weapon that only Chris can use, no one else. And after you finish this whole Mantle game with that curtain, after you finish it all and you go through that whole sequence of the final boss where Chris is literally taking physical damage from the game, they checked to see if you were hurt, that little line at the bottom right, so they knew that you were getting hurt. They were in there watching over you, and they made sure like, hey, are you okay? Are you feeling good? This is Chris's Ralsei within that curtain. And there's other moments where characters are just behind a curtain, and one of them talks about how the world was made and all that, and this person gets revealed to be like one of those like Shudda enemies, like the camera guy. That's also a Ralsei. It could be Chris's, it could be Susie's, I don't know. But yeah. But there is something weird about that Toriel variable. Why does it turn into a deer? Why is it a deer? It made me think, why is it a deer? Why is it a deer? Why is it a deer? But I thought about this, and I thought about that moment when the knight, like, shoots out their hand, and, like it looks like they're trying to abduct Toriel, but I think it has to do with Toriel's Ralsei. I think this weird, like, death thing, this knight, it's trying to wipe it might be trying to, like, wipe memories of deaths in a way, because, like, so many characters in the light world just don't feel much at all about deaths, but Toriel has been going through it. She's been, like, very irresponsible this whole time, and I think it's because she's one of the few people that are coping with this, because she still knows deaths. And I think this whole thing of pew pew pew, like, it's trying to get to her while she's sleeping, because the thing that Tenna is trying to do is he's trying to keep Toriel asleep so that her dreams are still happening.
Right.
Her Ralsei is in her dreams right now, and the knight wants her to keep asleep so this knight can take her Ralsei. This is crazy! And it's also scary, because, like, this changes everything. Because if Lightners have Ralseis, or, like, shadow people that could take forms, is the knight also a shadow, like Ralsei? Is the knight a Ralsei? Whose is this? Is this Carol's? Is this Dess's? It could literally be anyone. The knight could be a shadow person that comes from someone else. I literally have no clue who it could be. Like, it could very well be Carol, like, who has this quote unquote Ralsei. I can't even call them Ralseis anymore at this point, because they literally take on any forms. I don't even know what to call them anymore. Like, I don't know. This is the scariest part of this whole thing, and it feels like a turning point. Like, I feel like there's gonna be a crazy turning point where it's just gonna be revealed that, like, yo, literally everyone has these things, and they're, like, trying to do stuff, or, like, they're, like, trying to go against. It's so strange. It's so weird. I can't even wrap my head around what's gonna happen with Chapter 5, other than, you know, Ralsei might, like, reveal himself or something. But yeah, that is the presentation. Thank you for watching. That is it.
Yo, bravo.
Thank you for the presentation.
That Muffet shit was crazy to me.
What is, like, Deltarune about?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, the Muppet stuff is insane to me. I think.
No, yeah. This is what's even crazier to me is I've been watching a friend play Undertale for the first time, and they just, like, did this fight. And I didn't think anything about this dialogue, but this is really crazy. Like, why would she say that? Why would she say that they were changing shape? Like,
changing shape in the shadows? They must have had him in a different human in a striped shirt.
Also, for me, the Asriel and, like, Ralsei thing, it's like the things that get, like, the most obvious thing is that, like, Asriel is like Ralsei, but, like, with the letters changed up.
Yeah, it's literally just the letters changed up.
This slide is really funny to me because this is what people were saying after Chapter 1 came out, and, like, he took his hat off and he's like, I can't wait to see you guys again. I specifically remember people being like, that's fucking Asriel. So, like, seeing this slide, like, I don't know how to describe it. It's, like, really funny to me. I was like, oh my god, we've come full circle.
Yeah, okay,
but in a different manner.
I want to preface this. I don't think the character Asriel is Ralsei. I think Ralsei is an independent character that took the form of Asriel at the end of the game, like, to specifically
because Ralsei
can, like, say that line specifically.
Or whatever.
Yeah. But it's just so cool. It's so cool. Oh my gosh, I forgot this too. I forgot to make this slide. I should have made it.
Oof.
It could have been the final slide, but Ralsei is an anagram for is real.
I'm sorry, I thought you were gonna say Israel.
No. Alright, yeah. Ralsei's Jockington, Ralsei's the bird gunner thing, WD Gaster, selfless because the prodigy everywhere. Lightners have Ralsei. This is crazy to me. I didn't want to come up with a solution, but in the video, because, like, it makes my brain hurt thinking about, like, what the possibilities of this are. But it's crazy, and this is coming from the place that this revelation comes from, the TV world, the place where before you went to Chapter 3, Chris and Susie were there watching TV. So their Ralseis were in there, including maybe even Ralsei.
I was gonna say, so who's Ralsei is Ralsei?
Ralsei is. Okay, so
That's a
yeah,
good ass. Damn.
that's a good answer, because we don't even know what. Does he have a true form? I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
Jockington.
No, it's not Jockington.
Okay. It's Toby Fox.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Maybe Ralsei
okay.
is Ralsei's maybe Ralsei is the Ralsei, the player's Ralsei.
That's literally
yeah,
what my video says.
Oh,
That's
what?
literally- it's why he knows. It's why he like knows you, the player, so much. It's why he knows how the game works and like knows everything about what you do. Because like he's just your Ralsei. He just exists. Yeah, but like this makes my head hurt. This part, because it's just like, does this involve all fictional characters, not just the light world?
No. I don't know about that.
I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
I don't know if Toby would want to do that.
No, I don't think he would either. And I feel like there would be an explanation to it, like, oh, maybe the idea that this world, this light world has dark worlds, which are just fiction. That's what gave them Ralseis. You know, maybe it's something like that. I don't know. This makes my brain hurt, but I think this is what's happening.
Oh, now I get. Okay, I'm connecting the dots. Zach. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, this part is pure speculation. I feel like it has to do with she's dreaming for a reason, and
yeah, you're
Ralseis
definitely
can
onto something with that.
Yeah, these Ralseis are meant. He can manifest in your dreams, and Toriel's Ralsei looks like a deer, probably because there was a very deep connection with Des that is now gone, and because of that, her Ralsei took the form of Des, and now I don't know, and the whole thing with the night.
I definitely think you are onto something with that, because for one thing, like, especially with like, I always thought it was strange when the knight was like shooting that beam at her, because it doesn't look that strong,
No,
and it's not changing, like, it's not changing her size, so it's like I don't think it's like trying to physically like suck her up.
Damage.
Like, definitely, it could be damage. It could be, or trying to something not physical is trying to take.
Right.
I also think you're onto something with like maybe like the Des or the knight or whatever is like wiping people's memories of her, which would make a lot of sense, because literally not a single person,
no one mentions her
aside from Toriel, Noelle, or Rudy, and I guess Carol. Like, literally no one mentions her or mentions anything referring to like an incident that happened, which like, or Asgore. Sorry, I forgot Asgore as well.
Yeah.
Which is like really strange to me, especially because it's like, like as you're walking around as Chris and you're talking to everyone's always like, oh, like Asriel this, Asriel that. And like, it's also such a small town, so it's like, I don't see why people wouldn't
No one's mentioning
talk about it. Like, I don't see why people wouldn't talk about her or reference her or say, like, talk about Noelle and be like, oh, like, yeah, like, I feel so bad for her because she's like gone through this thing, and her like mom, like, I know Rudy says it, but no one else has ever really made an observation, at least like verbal out loud observation of like, yeah, she's always going through a lot. Her mom's hard on her, and she also went through that thing, and her dad is sick. Like, no one ever like acknowledges. Yes, so I feel like you are onto something about that.
No one remembers her because the knight is on the prowl trying to get River. But for what reason though? Oh, to not have the shelter be sus, because the shelter is.
But then the other.
Yeah.
Well, wait, no, you know what? I think you are. That's lines up, because like I was about to ask, like, okay, well, like if these people remember her and no one else does, then like why would like Toriel, Asgore, Rudy and Noelle, Rudy and Carol, why would they not try to make everyone remember? Like, it's like, but like then you just answered my question, is like there's probably something in this shelter that they're trying to like hide.
They're hiding something.
Like, if they're trying to hide something there, then they wouldn't actively like talk about
the one
or her
way
with
of
anyone
having
else.
people not think about the shelter is to stop people from thinking about the person that got missing because of the shelter.
Yeah.
But we gotta save her though. We gotta save her. That's how we win. This game is so cool.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Chapter 5. So a lot of people have speculated that, Chapter 5 is gonna be the Flower King place that, Asgore has that shop in.
Spoilers.
I mean, it's implied. It's like heavily implied. So yeah.
No, I'm saying I didn't complete chapter 4 in here. Also, I beat that fucking turtle.
Let's go. Something that I want to mention is I think it'd be really cool if Chris. So in the Flower King place that the assumed Dark World is going to be at, in like Asgore's room that's all like brown and nasty and dirty. Two things. One, terrible voice crack. My bad. So Muffet was intended for Deltarune, or at least Ralsei and Toby wanted her in Deltarune. But where would she be? I think it'd be really, really, really interesting if Toby kind of introduces some hints that Muffet was in Chapter 5's Dark World, because Asgore's room looks like it'd be a perfect place for some cobwebs to be, right? I think it makes sense.
There's gonna be some scary shit in there.
I'm noticing something, Zach. This is a really good speculation around a video game, right? So, I have a suggestion for you. You should start a YouTube channel. I don't know what you should name it. Something about games and theories, right?
Yeah.
And my god.
But yeah, I think Chapter 5 is a perfect time to address Muffet as missing, but also in Asgore's room there is a TV. And I think after, revealing that, Ralsei reveals that, I'm just a shadow guy that takes any form. The TV is where the Lightner Ralseis exist in. Wouldn't it be so crazy if they revealed themselves also through that TV somehow? I feel like that TV is there for a reason, for some crazy lore drop. I think it'd be really cool. I think it'd be really, really cool. But again, this game has 3 chapters left. I feel like, I don't know, I always think Toby's keeping stuff for later chapters, but then the crazy things happen way earlier than we think, so I have no clue when this is gonna get revealed, right? If it does.
Also maybe I'm also wondering if maybe Muffet is not featured in Deltarune because of the same reason that they're a Kickstarter character.
Yeah.
Then it means that Toby Fox doesn't want to use a character that doesn't belong to him. Right?
Yeah. And this is the way to honor that sort of sorry you couldn't make it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have my doubts that Muffet will come back. Definitely. More than not. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, no, thank you for what?
I look into your eyes. Or do I? Are those your eyes? Are they mine? I raise my hand. Whose hand is it? When I hold it, it feels so familiar, it hurts. Fur, ears, hair, black and white. Light and dark. Where do I end? Where do you start? I look into your eyes. Are they yours? Whose eyes are they? What are you now? A reflection. Another side of the coin. Blood of my blood. I know you, and I know you, and I know you. But no matter how hard I try, when I look into your eyes, all I see is myself.
She gave away the money. She gave the money away to, she doesn't have it anymore. Who did she give the money to?
Toby Fox.
I don't know, Toby Fox?
Yes! So, you called it. So, Toby's Ralsei.
Go.
A lot of people think this character is evil. I think this character is going to be nice. Because I believe that Ralsei is Jockington.
Yeah!
Yes! And this line specifically, whatever shape the world takes, I'll be there. That is Ralsei to a T.
Funniest thing about that line,
which
I think
is something
my
that
friend
happens
mentioned to
at
me
the
one
very
time.
end of.
My friend sent me a screenshot of that line, and just as like a joke, I just said Jockington is Ralsei.
No!
Let's go. Let's go.
You called it even before you knew. That's crazy. But yeah, that is the presentation. Thank you for watching. That is it.
Yo, bravo.
Thank you for.
That's it.
Interesting. So
Very, very interesting.
I mean, all right, Gaster. A lot to take in. Let me just think for a moment. Actually, okay. First thing I want to do. You're talking about Ralsei being really selfless earlier, and that brought me to a really interesting realization. You know who another Ralsei is now? Who else is described as selfless in the game? Newbert!
Oh!
Because
no.
Newbert.
What? Wait, you're not joking?
Yeah, hold on here. There is a time somewhere, I think in chapter 2, where Newbert, like, I don't remember exactly what he gives to someone else, but he gives, I think, hair to like a mouse or something. He's being really selfless, but also he never appears in Castle if you don't recruit everyone. He only appears if you spare all of his friends.
Wow.
And I was gonna say that, like, it's weird though because it mirrors your movements. It's literally a shadow.
Yeah.
So I don't. But then it's such a weird thing because you'd think that if it was like supposed to be representative of Des, who is probably the knight. I mean, for all intents and purposes, that's who seems the most likely.
You're right.
You'd think that if it like got close to Chris or something, it would do some sort of damage, or that like there'd be like something more there, I guess. But no, it gets somewhat close to Chris, and Chris just instantly kills them.
Yep.
On their own volition. So I don't know if it's supposed to. I don't. Like, it's probably representative of us, but what does that mean?
Because, like, so the way that I see it is Ralseis are kind of, like, indicative of, like, you know, what a friend that you desire. Like, someone that, like, maybe it's because of, like, a trauma response or whatever. So if we were to assume that it's Toriel's Ralsei, then this Ralsei took the form of Des because, like, there was such, like, a deep connection to Des from Toriel that's now, like, gone, and now she's, like, coping with, like, you know, it's a trauma response, and that's what I think might be happening. But if that's the case, then, like, how we've seen Chris so far is that, like, you know, they were involved with Des's appearance, where, like, you know, the tail of hell, like, took them to the shelter. But why isn't Chris's Ralsei look like Des? If we're to assume the whole trauma response stuff, I don't know. It's strange. But, like, the fact that it's a deer and it's named Toriel and the whole pew, 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 like, wheel, 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 like, and when you check on her, she is, in fact, dreaming. Like, if you defeat the knight, it says, like, she's having a nightmare, and all that. So, I feel like I'm onto something here, but at the same time, it still feels like there's room for, like, interpretation. Because, like, I didn't research this as well as I could have, but how well do people know about this whole, like, disappearance of Des? Because I never hear people mention Des other than, like, Noelle. I feel like Noelle mentioned it.
I think the best reason why that might be the case, why people don't mention it, is I think it happened a long time ago. Like, probably, like, years ago at this point. Because it's probably what caused the rift between Asgore and Toriel to an extent. Yeah. And that was definitely before Asriel went to college. It was probably, like, years before, if I had to assume, because if you talk to QC at the diner, she's all like, "Oh yeah," and then things happen, but you and your brother would still come here and stuff like that. And that sounds like it was probably more a long time ago. I don't know if there's an exact time frame, but Des probably disappeared a couple years before the events of Deltarune, and that's why most people don't mention her. Like, she's not part of their family. Things have already happened, and it's like, do they have as much of a reason to? But Noelle's going to mention her because of, the fact that her sister's missing and she still maybe doesn't know what happened. This is where we get into different territory where it's like, does Noelle actually know what happens? Did she block it out of her memory? Because she's very good at convincing herself of different things. So she might know what happened. She might have been there. She might have been part of it.
Right.
But it's like Chris couldn't really block it out of their memory as well. Because, or maybe they could, but now they're forced to like face what happened because they're working with the Knight now.
Yeah.
But like at a time they originally were able to because of all the Eggman room stuff. The tree was painted over it and whatever. But
yeah, the art there.
They have to face it. So maybe Noelle's gonna have to face it in the future, and then some sort of like, oh, they were both there. That's why Noelle talks about her. I don't know. It's strange. Des is still.
It's so weird.
Yeah, but I think the likely case, she disappeared a long time ago, and that's why most people. I mean, some people probably moved in after. I doubt Sans even know. Well, maybe he does. I don't know if Sans knows.
Sans, what's up with that guy?
Because there's the chance that like him and Toriel at the end of chapter 4, that's maybe maybe it's just now they're dating, but also it could be like he somehow knows about the dark worlds because this is like she was going to go to church, right? Yep. There's a dark world there. Was he trying to stop her from going there?
Right.
I don't know, and that's why I know a lot of people don't want Sans to be in chapter 5 for whatever reason. I've never understood it. I like Sans. I don't think he's going to like take over the fun gang or anything. That's not happening. He's just gonna be there. He's gonna be like Gerson, if anything. But I do want more Sans stuff because he's one of the most mysterious characters from Undertale. We still don't know a lot about him. And if Sans is from Deltarune,
yes,
then...
like everyone's like, yo, Sans comes from Deltarune and went to Undertale. How are we supposed to jump from point A to point B? How does that even happen?
But yeah, Sans, I could just never tell what he knows. And then a lot of other characters, we don't know when they moved into hometown. Some of them have definitely been there since Des went missing, but who knows how connected they were with Noelle's family or Des in particular. But then you go down to like the rabbit hole of like Caddy and stuff. I mentioned how Caddy could like be connected to Friend in some way because she has color similarities, the cat petter stuff, summoning demons and whatever. So it's kind of interesting that she never mentions Des in any capacity because she talks about Noelle a lot. But I don't know. Maybe she didn't know Des. I don't know. It's really weird.
I don't know. Caddy with an I, Caddy with a Y. Yeah. Both of them, I don't get them. They're both sus. But yeah, if this is what's happening with like having, it's a message of like how like people are trying to go back to the past before anything bad happened, and it would also make sense why Chris is involved with this, why Chris wants this to happen, because like they very much do have trauma from this problem, from this like event. And like, and if they want to like work with the Knight, it would definitely be to like forget all this, forget it all happened, go back to the past, back when things were better, when your family was not shattered beyond recognition, where you're maybe even your brother Azriel was messed up too. Like, I feel like it would be very thematic of like this game's message, where like on one end some people want to go back to the past, but then Gaster also wants to make a new future. So. Mm-hmm. It's like there's different sides of like, do we want to forget all this, or do we want to make something new out of it and like try to fix what we already have? It feels right, but then again, Toby Fox, whatever's gonna happen is whatever the writer wants to happen. So I'm in for the ride.
And I think on like the note about going back to the past, we're absolutely going to be getting more info stuff like that in Chapter 5 because Asgore, that's kind of what he's been doing the entire time. Trying to, he hasn't been able to let go of the past, so yeah.
It feels like it's gonna get mentioned.
Yeah. All right. I think that's all I can. Well, I guess Chris is Ralsei in that sense because that's the cactus, right? Not like the one that gives you the sword because that's like a spiny sword, right? So that would be
it gives the saber 10.
Yeah. So Chris's Ralsei is their cactus that's in their house, which is interesting. I don't
what?
Because
I don't know about that. I don't know.
The saber 10. Hold on, let me pull this up. In the light world, it's called the cactus needle. So you are getting a literal cactus needle from whoever's behind the either. And maybe it could make sense that it's the cactus in some way, especially because of the cactus and what is it, board 1? They have to move, so I guess that could be who they are. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
It doesn't. Yeah, that doesn't feel. It doesn't feel like, you know. I feel like if it gets revealed that Chris's Ralsei is the cactus, like I feel like that's such like an anticlimactic reveal that like it doesn't feel very rewarding.
It may not even be properly like revealed or anything. Maybe it'll just be like, because are you gonna reveal every single person's Ralseis? I think it's gonna be more. If anything, the idea of Ralsei would be more revealed, and then it would be like, okay, so who's this person's Ralsei kind of thing. It would be leave that open to interpretation.
Right.
Because something I've been kind of thinking about during that, I was talking about how Ralsei's fiction, but in like a good way.
Mm-hmm.
He is also just kind of the idea of interpretation as a whole as well, I think. Like, I don't know if that makes any sense, but if we're going based off of the idea, every person has their Ralsei, that kind of, like, the concept of Ralsei is, like, the idea of interpretation. However, you can interpret a character to be, like, your own character in a way.
Yup.
That's what Ralsei is.
Yup. Do you remember in my video, Chapter 3, where it's the moment where you don't close your eyes and you say, like, I think it was unique, you say, if you know, when you mentioned, like, Ralsei's face, he says, I'm just a shadow, so it's up to you how you think of me. That's literally, it lines up perfectly with what you just said. The idea of, like, interpretation on, like, your Ralsei, like, it's up to interpretation how you view your thing, your shadow friend, or whatever.
I think, like, the thesis of that video, I mostly agree with, but I still think The Forgotten Man is something. But it was a really good video.
Yeah, I love that video. I love that video. I love how, like, it, like, explains, like, even, like, in history, like, during the Atari days, like people weren't credited properly.
Yeah.
And for the first Easter egg, it was literally that. The guy who put it there,
someone's name,
himself, it was just his name. And, like, back then, that was an issue. And what does Gaster call the Forgotten Man within the PlayStation, achievements?
He calls him an issue.
An issue. It feels intentional.
It's a case of, like, Toby being really good at, like, putting in the, like, meta story elements, because, like, obviously all of this stuff has, not obviously, I guess, but it likely has context with the, like, within the lore of the game. But, like, the art therapy stuff, also, I can absolutely see that being representative of the creative process.
Yeah.
And while, like, all the stuff about Chris's hand and, like, their arm and stuff like that could very well be, like, oh, they're gonna lose their arm or their hand. That's, like, the lore aspect of it. But from, like, a meta perspective, that's probably Toby getting a bit real about wrist issues.
Yep.
And, putting a bit of himself into the game in that sense. And that's something I think Toby's very good at, is that things can definitely be taken in so many ways and still make so much sense. That's what I really love about Undertale and Deltarune, because they're definitely games that interpretation is key to understanding, I think. Especially, that's even into like the stories of both games that is directly like referenced, because Undertale's prophecy is, I think, like vague enough to the point where some monsters were like, oh, an angel's going to come down and free us all. But some people thought that the angel coming down in the underground and going empty, the angel was some angel of death. That's like that idea of interpretation as being directly in game. And then Deltarune's prophecy seems to be very similar. A lot of things seem to be super open to interpretation, because in my Jockington video, I was talking about how the Queen's Chariot stuff could kind of not really follow the prophecy all that much.
Right. But then like, there's so much debate on it. I go to that. I go to the comment section.
Giga Queen stuff.
I'm constantly going to the comment section of that video, and everyone's just debating on like, yo, it can't be breaking the prophecy. It has to be like all that.
It's a matter of interpretation, and we don't know what Toby meant by it, because it could very well be that they're right and it's Giga Queen, or it's the fact that technically nothing could really stand in its way, and that person, I was like kind of arguing against
referring
the
to the
video.
Cards.
Right.
It's referring to the cards,
but,
like that you.
But it could be, but maybe it is supposed to be more literal, that it's like the fact that literally it can't be stopped, but then it does, and that's just like a weird little thing that's some strange foreshadowing, breaking the prophecy, which again, I don't think it would be that big of a thing if it just wasn't for the fact that in Queen's room there's that car that you can stop for like no reason. Why can you do that?
Yes.
Like,
why is that added?
Like, I know it could be a reference to like the traffic lights in the city, but why is it the same car that Queen was driving?
The same car that Queen was using. The Queen's Chariot can be stopped.
But that's the thing that I really love about Deltarune's prophecy in a way, though, is because you get to so many different interpretations of it, and that's what makes it such a like interesting thing to talk about, is because everyone kind of interprets different parts of the prophecy differently, and that's what has made it one of the most like fun things to chapters 3 and 4, because that's kind of where you get led to all what the final prophecy is. And it's like, personally, I don't think I necessarily agree with a lot of them, because I just feel like there's always something that's just wrong about them, but that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's the way that I'm interpreting things. So that's what.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to talk about.
Yes, I love that interpretation you just had, because even like actual like religion, like the Bible, like people always come up to different interpretations about like what it all means and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's a perfect like analysis of the prophecy. I would say that, you know, we all have our own like idea of like what does this chariot mean? What does it mean? If Ralsei is always saying that it can't be broken, I see it's broken right there. But then wait, no, we're talking about all that. It's like it's perfect. The whole like analysis of prophecy and how like we say it does something, but then we're trying to like be like, no, it does this, it does that. It's awesome.
That's just something that I just love so much about, and not even this can just extend to like most art, and it's like I think sometimes it's a double-edged sword, because sometimes you get people who are really aggressive about interpretations. You've seen this with like the recent discussions about like whether or not there's a diegetic player in Undertale, and it's like,
right,
guys, it's not that important. Calm down. It's like if there is one, if there isn't, it's a matter of how you're interpreting the themes of the game, how you're interpreting that stuff. I personally think that there's a good chance that the player does exist, but that doesn't mean that it like ruins Frisk's emotions or anything. We're seeing it's like it's a different world that might even have different. That doesn't mean there will be no connections at all, though. I think the thing that kind of encompasses both of those like sentences in one together perfectly is the soul, because I think it's kind of obvious so far that like it does not work the same in Undertale as it did in Deltarune.
Right. There's not even dark fountains in Undertale.
Yeah, and I want to throw this out there. I don't know how true this is, but I'm just saying this. There's a chance that like from literally like every perspective, obviously in a literal sense, yes, Entry 17 is an Undertale in the game, blah blah blah. But I mean, you never see the soul in that room or anything. There's no real Undertale stuff there. It's not even really a room. It's just text. So I think it's, if anything, it's just put there for like Deltarune like foreshadowing, and the entry actually is from Deltarune. It's not in Undertale's universe at all. It's from Deltarune, and we'll see it in the shelter or something. Well, another thing that makes me think that the player is Undertale to an extent is just the fact that you have those dialogue options in Deltarune that are like, "Oh, you're great to see you again, Sans," or mentioning Alphys to Undyne for no reason.
Yes. I am a big believer in, you know, there's two sides in those dialogue options. It's either Chris's thoughts or your thoughts, and maybe even by extension Ralsei, because Ralsei's just a part of you. Because like the thing that trips me up is like, you know, the moments where Ralsei's always like, let's close. Are you wondering what Susie's doing in there? Like, I think you can easily assume that like all of us are like, what are you doing, bro? Like, why? Well, let's just chill, dude. Like, literally, that one option that Chris gives you.
Yeah.
Like the fact that like, you know, we're sus about this. Chris is sus about this. Why do we still have the option to wonder?
I definitely think that to an extent, some of the Chapter 2 stuff is intrusive thoughts. Chapter 4, no, but I definitely like the idea that part of it is Chris's intrusive thoughts. Thing is, though, I've seen like a comeback recently of people saying that like when talking about like the weird stuff in Chapter 4, when you can first like tell Noelle to proceed with talking about stuff, and then like the other option is please don't, and that sounds like so scared. That's Chris saying that, and I think that's maybe the case. But the only thing that's so confusing about that to me is that the soul and Chris are still separated at that point. This is how you even get into the room in the first place, which is like, is that actually Chris saying please don't, or is it someone else, or is it the game
Ralsei.
itself?
It's Ralsei! It's Ralsei!
He's trying to stop the weird route, because genuinely, like,
he knows
Chris
it.
How would he definitely knows whether or not he knows exactly what the weird route is? He's definitely aware that something happened, right? Because in Chapter 3, if you say they were going to the festival with Noelle and the weird, he's like,
that's a bad choice. Maybe not.
And like normally he's just like, haha, polycules. But in this case, he's not. So he definitely knows something happened. Whether or not he actually knows Birdley's rotting away, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
there's also that segment of like, I don't want to talk about. No. I'm getting too ahead of myself. We have the other presentation. I'm getting too.
Right.
prophecy stuff. I think we've already talked about. What about like Undertale stuff? Is there any Undertale Ralsei connections that you can think of?
Who else has a lot of knowledge about like the way Undertale's world works? Flowey. But how does that knowledge change him as opposed to how it changes Ralsei? Ralsei, it scares him and everything. Flowey, it drives him insane.
Yeah, he's very apathetic to like the world.
Yeah, he is like Jevil, where he views it like a game. I don't think Flowey actually knows Undertale is a game, but he definitely views Undertale like a game. Whether or not he's fully aware that, you know, hi player, but you know, but he could. I think he views it that way, which is how Jevil also views it. Jevil, this has nothing to do with this. I'm just throwing it out there because it's interesting. Jevil mirrors the player in a lot of ways. You know how like different secret bosses mirror different characters in some way. Gerson, Susie, blah blah blah. Jevil represents the player. He has the most freedom and everything, but technically he is still restrained. We as the player do technically have the most freedom out of any character in the game, but we are still restrained.
We can literally mod the game.
Yeah, but we are still technically restrained by the confines of a video game. We aren't actually technically in the world. Yeah. Our connection to the world is the soul. But Flowey is kind of like the Ralsei that the knowledge like breaks. The knowledge of how everything works, and you know, the knowledge of saving and reloading and remembering everything drove Flowey completely insane. That is Ralsei in that kind of scenario. That's like an alternate Ralsei in that kind of.
Yeah.
That's kind of the only thing I can really think of for Undertale connections right now.
Yeah. I have so much trouble with figuring out, like, when I think about, like, who is Ralsei, if he is, like, some fiction traveling type of character based on your like perception of it, and like, would he be just straight up Flowey? But that doesn't really make sense.
I don't think he'd be straight up Flowey. I just think it's kind of like, it's less that like he's exactly Flowey, but it's just like a what if scenario if a character like Ralsei was to, who had all this knowledge, did have like a completely
different perspective,
different reaction, a different perspective on it.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of what it is more.
You're absolutely on the mark with that one. It can't be Ralsei. No way. I just think Ralsei is, he can be anyone, but in the specific moment in the pacifist route, at the very end, he was Asriel. Because that line at the end, I can't get over.
It's a really good point, because I haven't really thought about that line too much before, but I know you brought it up in the first video, and I was like, oh, that's a... Why does he say that?
Why does he say
that? Why? It's like Ralsei has been planned for... Okay, Toby, cool one, man. All right, I think I'm ready.
All right, so
I'm scared.
Out of all the presentations, this one feels like the most like I'm like sort of like taking matters into my own hands, because like it's getting to the point where I have to like write fanfic crap where I have to like think about oh like what if it's like this, or what if it's like this, what if it's like this, but like I have evidence, but it's just like I kind of have to jump from something to something. This has everything that I know so far. So here we go. So this will be my last presentation. I don't expect to make another one of these, because I have sapped every bit of power that I have, every bit of like energy, because this journey has been so like physically and mentally draining. I want to make more art about all this, but at the same time, like, I just can't get myself to do it, because it's just so like, it saps so much of my energy. Like, as Ralsei says, knowing things hurts. It's all I think about. Like I literally, like, I have been so tired to the point where like I feel asleep during the day and I feel awake at night. Like, I'm literally in the dark. Like, how did that even happen? This is...
Ralsei is God's fucking strongest soldier. Like, how did he not, like, both me and you have gone insane over different topics relating to this game, because we just keep finding out more about that. You going insane over the guy who didn't go insane, knowing everything, and then me going insane over random fucking snake.
A snake. Like, you started talking about Toy Story, the most minor the most minor character imaginable. Like,
I'm sure there's potentially some actual connection you can make there, but I didn't want to rewatch 3 Toy Story movies so I could see Snake for 3 seconds. I didn't care that much. So
he has one line and he goes, "Ow!" Okay.
All right.
Here we go. Let's return back to Undertale. Pacifist route. Ralsei is Asriel. What about the genocide route? I doubt this. I have my doubts on this, but there could be a possibility behind this. And it would have some like pretty cool messages behind it. A pretty cool message behind it. But could he be Kara at the end of genocide route? Because like, how the frick did this kid come back? This kid is dead. This Kara, like, it's supposed, like, it represents like the kid that Asriel was with
died.
Yeah. Just this kid just straight up dead, and like this Kara is like immune to resets. You do genocide route, and then you do pacifist route, and then they just come back. And they have game knowledge about like attack, love, XP, gold, all like the the mechanics. And the line that they say here, my human soul, my determination, they were not mine, but yours. They are talking to you, the player, specifically, that the things that you did, that's what made them. And that feels like such a Ralsei mannerism of like, the idea that like the you know, as I have here, like if this is the case, then it's like a powerful message that like the outlook we have on art is what will carry for the rest of the lives. The way you perceive a piece of fiction and the way you leave it, that is how you'll live on for the rest of your life. And I think that has merit to it. That really does. But it's easy to retcon, so maybe this is like the devil. This is like a demon that everyone talks about. I feel like if we do want to go down that path, we got to talk about the thing that Flowey says right before you see Kara. It's the idea, you know, the whole like, see, I never betrayed you. It was all a trick. See, I was waiting to kill him for you. After all, it's me, your best friend. I'm useful. I can be useful to you. I promise I won't get in your way. I can help. I can. Please don't kill me. So like,
good Flowey voice.
I love this whole part. If we were to think that this isn't Ralsei, Kara isn't not Ralsei. So like, Kara kills the last remaining character Ralsei can play as. If we were to assume that Ralsei is not Kara. So like, the idea of Flowey saying, after all, it's me, your best friend, and saying like, I'm helpful, I can be useful to you, bro. The world is gone. There's no more like things that we can do here anymore. Why are you saying that you can be useful to me when the world doesn't exist anymore? I've killed everything. And the whole line of I promise I won't get in your way, that feels like Ralsei as well. And
that does feel like Ralsei. I mean, he actively in like chapter 4 wants to get ahead of you so he can, you know, destroy things that, you know, would be kind of like sad to see. He doesn't want to get in your way, but he also doesn't want to like, he doesn't want to, you know, you to see the bad parts of the prophecy and everything. He doesn't want that to get in your way either.
Yep.
So it is definitely kind of a Ralsei thing to say.
This could be him, but if we think about Kara as being something else, Kara has that line of like, let us erase this pointless world and move on to the next. Now that I'm thinking about worlds being interpreted as, you know, let us erase this pointless fiction, move on to the next. Are you carrying this devil thing to another fiction? That'd be crazy. And like, this idea of erasing worlds, like, Kara is like, it feels like Kara is like the antithesis, like the anti-version of Ralsei, where like the idea of like, you know, Ralsei fulfills dreams, Kara kills them, or like creates them into like being like scary. I don't know. So overall, Kara's effed up. Regardless on if it's Ralsei or if this thing is they're Ralsei or not, I definitely think that they go beyond Undertale and move on to like Deltarune or like other fiction potentially. So like that's really scary. That is an incredibly scary thought to have.
So we're kind of looking at like Ralsei is the positive thing that you kind of carry between fiction, and then Kara is like just the other side of that. It's like you can't have something that's like black and white, so you have to have both parts of it. You have to have, you know, Ralsei is the like fun you can have on adventures and fiction and stuff like that. He's the characters that you love and everything. Kara is that other like nagging aspect of it that I kind of talked about earlier, where it's like let's erase this pointless world. Like how like, oh, fiction doesn't really matter. It's not real or something. Kara is that side of the same coin, I guess.
I don't want to be like, yo, instead of one friend inside you, there's two. I don't believe that. The existence of Kara is just still up for debate. I thought I knew, but then I saw this and I was like, nah, I just spoiled the next slide. But, okay, yeah. Ralsei's Onion Sand. This is the first line that they have when you meet them. It's me! You know me, right? Of course you do! I'm real popular! I just don't have any friends. Like, I've never met, like, I assume like Chris has never met this thing before. What is this thing? This is something that came from Undertale to Deltarune. Because, like, the line, it's me, you know me. Of course you do. That seems like this is talking to the player. Because, like, you know, the whole thing that Toby said is, like, you know, play Undertale before you play this game. This might be one of the reasons why. Because, like, it's me, you know me, right? Of course you do. And they say that they're real popular, but with no friends. How does that even happen? Or maybe it's like I don't know.
Real popular because Undertale is really popular, but, you know, in the actual world of Deltarune, they don't have any friends. So they're popular because, you know, people who've played Undertale know what this weird little onion creature is. But, you know, even if a bunch of, you know, millions of people know that they exist, no one's actually technically friends with them because this is like the first game I think you even get. Do you even get dialogue choices with Onion Son and Undertale? I don't know because I think they just kind of say things while you're walking past, and that's just kind of it.
Yep.
But this is the first time when you actually get to say things to them, so that's why they don't have any friends, because they in the previous game you aren't even given a chance to really be their friend.
Something I didn't put in here that I'm now thinking of my top of my head. In chapter 2. When you meet them again, they're like, "Did you miss me? I miss you all day. I miss you all day. Did you miss me?" If you say yes, they say, "My existence being acknowledged." Like, come on, that's gotta be you, bro. That's you, bro. That's Ralsei. And whenever you first meet Onion San, one of the name options you can give them is Asriel 2. This does not look like Asriel at all. Who are you, Chris? This is not a Chris. Like, if we are to assume that, like, you know, there's 3 people, there's 3 voices, you, Chris, and Ralsei, that would be a Ralsei. That would be the option that Ralsei just put. Because, like, that's not Ralsei. That's not Asriel. And in chapter 2, Onion San asks to be alone. So Susie, like, leaves. Like, so, like, Onion San knows the player, is aware that the player is there. Like, or, like, I don't know. And there's times where there's just a shadow over Onion San's face, which would play well into the idea of Ralsei being, like, hidden in the shadows all the time, you know?
And, like, on the idea of, like, Ralsei having more game knowledge and everything, Onion San clearly does have some sort of, I mean, they know about the weird music that's being played in the ocean, which
they were like, it's not a new song, right?
Yeah, they've heard it before, right?
Yeah.
So, and now they went to investigate it. They got gonerified or something. I don't know. But I mean, there's some, like, extra knowledge that they would have that the only other person to mention so far is Susie, which is scary because there's a chance that it's in the actual, like, sound file. Because I remember there was a video that showed that there's like 3 notes that might be getting played there, but then there's also some people that are like, no, it's not really the case. But then there's some people that are like, yeah, it's the case. I don't know. Maybe it's just like a Mandela effect thing, but one of the only people to mention some sort of song being played at sea. So there's weird extra game knowledge that they have, like Ralsei.
I'm trying to think what song it could possibly be. Could it be a song from Undertale? That'd be crazy. Could it be the like Dess's, like, the findher.og, sort of like like, you know, because everyone thinks that, like, Dess is, like, in the depths or whatever. I've heard some people say that, and, like,
either
water,
in, like, the depths or the shelter or whatever.
Or the shelter.
You know?
Yeah.
It could be the depths when I think about it, because there is all the stuff about, like, rivers in that book before the egg room in chapter 4. So it could be the like, depths and water, because we don't really know. It's got something weird's happening with water. And
there's too many things about water that makes me think about the depths and, like, it being, like, very, very deep, extremely deep, like the darkest of dark, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
an even darker world.
An even darker world, pretty much. But yeah, that's all about Onion San. I wanna give an update on the Toriel deer thing. So I had trouble finding the original video that talked about it, and I finally did find it. These screenshots that I have here come from the video, the text as well, that are, like, that's overlaid on it. And I want to talk about the way that it's programmed. So the way that it's done is that it first instantiates the enemy with an X coordinate, Y coordinate, and it gives the appearance of the deer, like, immediately. If you remove all this code, it still works. Everything works fine. but it feels like this is someone, like this is like a more novice programmer trying to get this working, because like they make the tutorial variable, it's set to true, and even after they make this enemy with like the proper like sprites, they're still trying to make it look like a deer. They're like hacking in to make it look like a deer, where it's like, if Chris is facing this direction, make the deer look like this. If they're facing this direction, do this, you know? And they're doing the hurt sprites and all that, but then there's an if statement that checks the tutorial variable, and if it's true, it hides it. It's no longer a deer. It is back to the monster, to the regular monster that we were used to seeing. So, like, why are we going through the trouble of setting the sprite to look like a deer with the variable set to true when there's just an if statement that fixes this? We are literally, the programmer is deliberately trying to make it look like a deer, and then it fixes itself. It feels like a band-aid solution to hide the truth. Someone, or maybe the same programmer, fixed, maybe like, yeah, if this is like a lore explanation, then like, is there someone who came in to fix this? Did someone fix this so it's not revealed what this monster looks like?
There is weird stuff going on with the code in Deltarune, because you know about the unused dialogue, right?
Yeah.
The so it's like the code is there. Characters can have some sort of way to impact the code here, so that could be the case. Maybe this is like, I don't know, Des is trying to be like, hey, it's me, hey, what's up? But then, I don't know, someone else is coming in with Wingding Gaster, and he's just like, nope, it's this thing.
It's the random monster with no identity that you can tie it to.
Yep, because that is really, really interesting. It's like, I know Toby code exists and everything. This code's messy sometimes. Undertale's code is a nightmare, which, you know what? My code's a nightmare too. I can't blame him. But he's a smart guy. This is something that feels just like kind of weird, you know?
This feels intentional.
Why keep it in the code if it's just gonna be removed anyway?
He has like a full-on team behind him. They're a very talented team behind him.
Exactly.
That sees this and would instantly be like, this doesn't make sense. We just have the one line, everything's fixed. Why are we going through so many hoops only for it to be changed?
Exactly. So it is definitely, I did not actually know about the code looking like, because I knew about but I did not know that this is what the code looked like. That's just so weird. Huh. It's really interesting.
It's so fun to think about the fact that even code tells a story in this game. I think that is so cool. That is so fun to think about. All right, I want to talk about Ralsei. I want to go back to Ralsei, our buddy boy. So the prophecy, like everywhere, it's like depicting him as lonely, and within the prophecy, it mentions alone in deepest dark. Now with the analysis that I have, I feel like now this to me interprets like alone in deepest fiction. Like he's just everywhere now. He's everywhere. Anytime you like interpret a movie, a book, even your dreams or your art, he's there. But you know, everything runs off a script. There's no real connections. He can't really say anything new or different. He can't go off the script. So, you know, there's that to go with. And something that a lot of people I've heard debate on is like his role, because he calls himself a prince, but he has no subjects. So like, he calls himself a prince. What does that make his role outside of Deltarune? And if he does have a role, it's 100% not fulfilled, because he's definitely acting like he's like fresh or like new or like whatever. So I went searching. I thought to myself, you know, the people creating who are involved in this game, the Deltarune team, I would assume they know the story of Ralsei. I would be inclined to believe that there is someone out there who has made games that were inspired by this story. I found 2 games that might hint to this. RageNade, think. Who has made some games that is heavily involved with Undertale and Deltarune?
Heavily involved. Why is my brain blanking? I'm sorry.
Come on, it's easy.
I'm so sorry.
It's easy.
Fuck.
Been there since the start, ever since even Undertale.
Been there since the start, even since Temmie?
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
there you go.
Temmie has made 2 games, Escape Chasm and Dweller's Empty Path. The synopsis with Escape Chasm is literally like, it feels like so much like Ralsei as like a character. It says, a small little RPG maker game about a lonely girl with a connection to another world that she sees in her dreams. So it's about this girl who, her world is like literally crumbling, which I like to think as like a metaphor for like Temmie's like outlook in making the game, because Temmie has said that this game was more so just like a way to find out how RPG Maker works. So to think it's like a crumbling world that like, you know, is going to be like forgotten very quickly, it kind of makes sense in sort of a meta-narrative sense. But this girl is being recruited by a world-traveling demon, this character named Zera, I believe is his name, to join another world. And that other world is Dweller's Empty Path. They go from Escape Chasm to Dweller's Empty Path. And in Dweller's Empty Path, there's a character called the Prince, and he's called Lonely because the king and queen died, and he took orders from these two. So that made me think, Ralsei is considered the prince, and he is also lonely. There's a hierarchy between a prince and a king and queen. There's a higher being that should be giving him orders. He should be given orders as well, right? Who is the one that gives these orders?
Toby.
No.
Who gives the orders?
Being more general.
Just more general. Are we talking a character or a real person?
Real human being.
The player?
Yeah! We are the king or queen or thing. They plus king. I just thought of that now. So I believe that the recruit system goes beyond Dark Worlds, because this is what Toby's Ralsei did exactly for Muffet. Like, we took her from one world to the next, the equivalent of taking a character from one Dark World to, like, you know, Castletown. We took Muffet from a design that was just made, like, plain and simple. Like, she literally had no voice, no character, it was just a design. And we took her and made her real in Undertale. I think this is really cool. The idea that, like, you know, fan works matter. Our Ralsei is taking, like, let's say you're making an AU for Undertale. Ralsei is taking the characters and repurposing them for your own fiction. That's cool. That's really cool. I'm losing my voice over this. And, you know, this is how I would suspect that this is how, you know, Ralsei makes friends. It's how art is given life, and he literally gives life to fiction. Like, that's literally what Toby's Ralsei is doing for Deltarune, I bet. Like, that's crazy. That's wild.
That is really cool.
It would be really cool. It'd be really, really cool. I'm filling in the blanks here of, like, ideas for what Ralsei is, because this character just feels like an endless pit of just cool concepts. But yeah, that's what I believe. I feel like it would make for a really powerful message of, like, this character is, like, all the things you're seeing Ralsei do, it's just something that he does, like, anywhere, including, like, the whole Castletown thing of taking people. It's how, like, all, like, the Darkners, they can exist in Castletown, because Castletown is, like, a representation of, you know, your world. You, the player, the way that you tackle these characters, depending on if you want to recruit them or not, it's such a parallel between, like, like, AUs and all that, and, like, making your own art.
Yeah. I before this call, I was thinking about, like, because I was thinking about the Dark Worlds as escapism and everything, and I just sat there, well, what form of escapism is Castletown? Because it has to be something. And then it's just like, it kind of came to me that it's just like a world that you can get lost in. Whatever it is you make, you get lost in. Because Ralsei deliberately says in chapter 4 that he wants Castletown to just be a world, a place where you can forget everything for a minute. And I don't think this is, like, I know we were talking about how, art can't get serious and what. that's kind of now being disproven in Deltarune. I don't think that's necessarily the case with Castletown. I do think that is more or less going to be like, well, actually, no, who knows? But I do think
it's a happy place.
It is a happy place. It is like a place that you can go to in your own head, a world make to just feel better. Is when something's bad, like it clearly was at the start of chapter 4. You know, Undyne's in the shelter. What's going on there? Is she being ripped apart by Friend right now while Ralsei's saying, "Oh, whoa, who knows?"
Yeah, she's strong. She can handle it.
Castletown is supposed to be your, however you make it, and that's why the recruits are even there. Yeah. So it's really funny that I was just thinking about that before this call, because I was writing stuff down when we were talking about escapism and how he's fiction. I just had to think of that, and I don't even have that. But
yeah,
I thought of that, and I was like, that's probably what Castletown is. Yeah, it's just escapism as a whole.
Yeah.
Like, so
making your own story out of what already exists.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cool, very, very cool.
Yeah.
All right, I want to get even deeper into this, because if the recruit system goes beyond Dark Worlds, what does that make the Light World? So there's some characters that are missing in Deltarune, like Papyrus, Muffet, Mettaton, or at least, like his form isn't there, I would assume. So could they be...
He seems to just be a ghost.
Yeah. So could they be recruited by a Ralsei in the future? Whether that be like, our Ralsei or Toby's Ralsei or whatever. Oh, Ralsei. Could they come back? And is Sans aware of this? Because he's like, maybe a day, maybe another 2 years. Who's keeping track at this point? Like, he doesn't even know his brother's name. He's never dropped the name Papyrus. Probably because he just straight up doesn't know. So like that's a fun little thought process too. But I don't know. I have my doubts on Muffet coming back. She was a Kickstarter reward.
Yeah, I don't think there's a Muffet reference in chapter. You can get armor from the fountain that you can throw money into, and it's some sort of like spider reference, and that's probably supposed to be a Muffet reference. Because it's Kickstarter reward, probably not going to come back. We also got a So Sorry reference.
Right, we did.
So they're not coming back. Glide will probably be a reference at some.
Glide.
Kickstarter rewards.
Muffet's not coming back. So Sorry's not coming back. Glide is coming back.
Let's go. Yeah, Kickstarter rewards. Because they were Kickstarter rewards. They're not going to come back. But yeah. I do like the idea that Sans he just does it. He has a brother, but he was never just like, hey, what's your name?
Well, yeah.
Who are you?
I don't even know. Like, I'm promised a brother, but like, where is he? Like, I don't know. What is up with this skeleton? The Sans.
I have no idea. He's. This is why I'm excited for him in chapter 5. Because like, what the? Who is this guy?
Who are you?
Why do you have Grillby's store? Where did this come from? Why is your house the exact same for like no reason? Also, the weird thing is, talk about like how he doesn't know where his brother is. It says that like I saw a tweet about this. His house is like apparently pretty messy when you look into it.
Yep.
It's not really like that in Undertale, with the exception of the singular sock on the floor. That's probably because Papyrus cleans it.
Papyrus cleans it!
Papyrus? Where's Papyrus?
Oh! He's not there because we gotta get him!
Exactly. He's just in a dark world somewhere. He's just stuck.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Or he can't clean it because he's a
decapitated. Or no, yeah, maybe he's a different. Maybe he's like baby, like it's not Papyrus. It's like Baby Bones or something. I don't know.
It's just like some guy named John appears.
John, yeah, like John. That's Sans' brother.
Red coat with like shoes that are like yellow shoes. Hey guys, it's me, John.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Where is Papyrus? Because he's gonna be in the game, I think, because he's 100%. In that list. But where is he?
Where does he pop up? When does he pop up?
apparently when like Asriel is gonna show up, I guess. But when's Asriel gonna show up? We don't really.
Some people say that he's gonna show up. Yeah, next week, and then everyone's like debating like, what does Toby interpret as next week?
Because chapter 5 is gonna be Sunday, right? That's the start of a week, but it would feel weird because like Toriel never mentions Asriel coming home that time, but maybe she doesn't know the exact time he comes home or something. I don't know. It would be fun to see him at the. That would actually be just like, how would that work? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know. And if we're coping with thinking Ralsei will be in the festival, like, what's gonna happen when they meet?
It's a really good point. I'm so sad Ralsei could be at that. I don't care about the festival. Let's just go to Cal.
Yeah, who gaff? I don't like. Yeah,
we could if Noelle wants to really go with Susan, just bring Noelle to Castle.
Yeah,
she deserves to know the truth at this point. We've been hiding it for too long.
True. All right, when we're thinking about Ralseis and recruiting people, the idea that like Toby has a Ralsei that is literally making Deltarune and Undertale. Like, his Ralsei is literally making all the stuff that Toby's making. Like, he's literally making them, like, real and all that. And Toby's deep connection to Ralsei, I think, is being, like hinted at. Like, Toby, like, loves this character so much. And I think Tony Phony has been hiding him in tweets. 100%. So, all of these come from different tweets that he's made. So, I'm gonna go from left to right. So one of them is concept art that he did for like the Tenna, little like the cutscene, and for the line "the show that makes you scream," you is being represented as Ralsei. Huh? And he's like in the actual scene. He's like what? He's like on a computer, something that you are most likely doing if you're playing the Steam version. So like, I feel like this is intentional. This is a clear direction that Toby put for the creator of that clip. And I feel like it's intentional. And then there's also the thing about, Jockey saying, Happy New Year, friends! Don't forget, Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4 will also release this year in 2025. Like, what? Why are you saying this, Jockington? Based on what I've said, Ralsei is Jockington. Is this Toby's way of telling our Ralsei that Deltarune is coming out soon? And he also says, don't forget! Like, what? That's him. That's 100% him. Like, no way that's not him. And, like, Toby's finding ways to tell us, to tell him, tell our Ralsei, whatever. And also this cute little drawing in the middle, Toby said, there's nothing important about this. I just wanted to put it there because it looked cute. But no, that's our Ralsei! Patting Chris and Susie! That's so sweet! That means something. And also this Christmas one. Why does Ralsei look like a tree? Like, if I'm thinking that he's a shapeshifter, he could just do that. Like, that isn't just like him being like, what if he looked like this? No. He could literally just do that if he wanted to. It's really Christmas. he is Christmas. And finally, the last one that I saw, Toby did the Ralsei obedience badge, and he labels it as concept art with a question mark, because that Ralsei is not just concept. That is the Ralsei. That is our Ralsei. That's my Ralsei. That's your Ralsei. It's everyone's Ralsei, and he's just giving him an obedience badge, probably because he's like he's not like breaking the game with his like power. He's being very like keen on just like not doing anything crazy within Deltarune, and I feel like it being an obedience badge, it would make sense for the way he acts. So yeah, this is fun. This especially the Jockeyton one that is 100% intentional. That feels like the most real thing out of all this. So yeah, sorry, my voice is starting to get shot.
I'm so glad the Jockington insanity is spreading through this theory as well. My job is done.
Yeah.
I don't want to take too much credit for Jockington, because people definitely were talking about Jockington before I started doing it, and like Jockington Friend is definitely not the same theory as Goner Jockington, but I can't help but think I might have had a little impact, which
Yeah.
my bad. My bad.
You definitely got me involved. Like thinking about Jockington. Like I didn't think about Jockington that much until that video. Like I saw like someone like posted a highlight from your first video, and I was like, that's pretty funny. I'm gonna watch that whole video. And I watched it, and I was like, that's really funny. And then it made me, I don't know. Yeah, the true moment that got me the ball rolling in all of this was me making my animation, but it like connected to your to Jockington somehow. It was crazy. It's crazy.
We connected it to friend inside me earlier. I think this could.
Yeah, they both friend inside me. Like it could be about both of them. Like what? But yeah, I definitely think Toby this whole time has known about this, because like why wouldn't he? And is just trying to tell us. He's giving us hints for a reason. Like he wants us to find this out so bad, and I feel like it's gonna culminate to something. If something, I don't know. Okay, I want to talk about the whole revelation that liners have Ralseis. So they have Ralseis, but we just never see them. Where are they? I have an idea on what they could be. So Chris, Susie, Noelle, Birdley, they all have shadow friends. They all have Ralseis. But where are they in the dark world? I thought about this, and I thought about their weapons. They could kind of just take different forms. So, like, Chris's sword can turn into a shield. The weapons never change appearance according to the item you equip. So, like, what's the deal with that? And Birdley's helm just has an eye that, like, reacts to stuff, I think. I'm pretty sure. And it also turns into a spear. So, like, are they with them in the dark? They've been with them in the dark as their weapons, as their tools. That's so cool. That is so cool. Because, like, how else could I explain them changing form other than they're the Ralseis, where they're always at their humble service. They're always, doing stuff for them. So, like, it makes sense. It just makes sense to me for them to be their weapons. And, like,
What is at your humble service, you say?
Yeah, whatever. I did a reference.
But that makes me think. If we're going back, because like the weapons and shields and stuff, like basically a servant, you're using it to, fight things and stuff like that. The thing I agree with the most, a certain character, is that they are a servant. If you've read the big master doc on them, then I think it makes a lot of sense. Is Ralsei friend?
No.
Just throwing it out there right now.
I don't think our Ralsei is friend.
Definitely not our Ralsei.
Yeah.
But I think friend is its own creature, but could be in like the concept of a Ralsei that we're... Maybe there could be a connection there, but no. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah. You might be onto something, but let's talk about more about weapons, right? Liners have Ralseis. Mm-hmm. They're always doing stuff for them. I got a question for you, Ragenade. I got a question for you. Whose weapon is the knight? I think that the knight is a Ralsei that someone has. I got my mic over here. You have the mic. You have the spotlight. You have the audience is watching over you. The audience, just pretend that they're in their underwear. You go. Who is it?
Whose weapon is the knight? Des. You're asking who is the one that has the weapon, or who?
So, I believe now that the knight is a Ralsei that someone has. So it could literally be anyone. It doesn't have to be Des. I feel like Des is missing and trapped. It's the voice. She's the voice in the code. Why would she be the knight? Yeah. Why would she be the knight? It has to be someone else. I don't think it's Des anymore. Who is it? Tell me.
Carol?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Because, like, what if it's Azrael? That'd be cool. That'd be interesting. What if it's Carol? That could be interesting as well. What if... I don't think it's Asgore. That'd be kind of stupid, but that'd be kind of funny. Rudy, I mean, he could probably use that shadow to, like, go against, like, him being all sick and all that. I don't know.
The biggest thing for, like, Death Knight, I do think that the voice in the code is Des. Thing is I think the knight that we see is not entirely, like, Des. It's some sort of like
yeah.
corrupted, fucked up darkness imbued Des.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like a copy of Des. Throw this out there. The night's entirely black. Monochrome means one. Copies.
Copy.
God damn it. God damn it.
They made a copy of Des. But like, yeah, no. The thing about the night though is like, what they're taking Toriel's Ralsei. So like, is this like a Sonic Adventure moment with like Chaos, where like Chaos gets like the emeralds, like the Chaos Emeralds, and gets stronger with each one? Are we doing that sort of thing? Is that the thing we're doing? Could that be what's going on? I don't know.
It's like keep taking Ralseis until you get stronger.
Exactly.
It's like, huh?
Because like,
because then like, what do you have to like protect yourself? I guess if we're going, because if like Lightner's Ralseis are weapons,
yeah,
and if they're being taken away, then they have no. So.
Oh, that's true. So maybe not. The knight could have literally just taken all of them. Wait, no. Oh! I don't know. This question freaks me out now because it's just like I thought I was a competent Des believer. I was like, yo, it's 100% Des. It's a bat. She brings out a bat, but it's literally like a shadow thing. It's literally shape shifting, like what Ralsei could do, like changing shape, hiding in the shadows, changing shape. Like it could be anyone. It could be anyone. Okay, so I have a Ralsei. You have a Ralsei. Lightners have Ralseis. Are we missing someone? There is one character.
Of darkness?
No, there is someone that we are forgetting. One. Oh my gosh, my voice is awful right now. One character that is behind a lot of this.
Gaster
has a Ralsei! Who is it? Raise me, tell me! The audience is now naked. They have leaves on their parts. Go!
Friend. No. No. The night. It's all of them. He has multiple. God damn it.
Oh!
Gaster's Ralsei is our Ralsei.
No!
His son.
No!
I don't know what I'm talking. I'm saying shit. I don't know. That. Thing is that these three characters, we still just.
We don't know anything about them. We don't know much about them. That's the problem. Like, we don't know much about them, so all I can do is just take one and just go nuts with it. That's what I'm talking about when I'm saying that, like, this is a lot of, like, what ifs, right? I have to make a conclusion about this, because if this has crazy implications, like, if I had to bet, and I'm going to write on this for the next couple of slides, but if I'm going to bet, I'm going to say it's friend, because the name is, like, literally the most, like, abstract you can get with what a Ralsei is. They are just friends. I think Des comes from someone else, and I think Eram might be, like, I don't know, the demon that Chris and Caddy summoned. That's my best guess for those two. But for friend, it's still so unknown, and I feel like it has to be someone's Ralsei, because, like, the name is just so, like, and the phrase "always at your humble service." I did not say that as like a funny little reference. I wanted to hint at it because like that is what a Ralsei is at its core. Always at your humble service, trying to aid you. And Gaster kind of is cool with like whatever you're doing, so it's kind of like he's kind of just chilling. He kind of wants anything to happen, which is kind of like what Friend's doing. All right.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
it makes sense. I feel like it makes sense, and he's okay. All right, I don't want to. Okay, I want to stop. So, Gaster, he's shattered across time and space. I feel like the farthest we've seen him is just straight up through like Twitter, saying like talking to us, like through Twitter. Like I feel like he could just straight up be in reality if he really wanted to, like the whole shattered across time and space stuff. So if we're gonna assume that, then his friend, just like Ralsei,
can exist everywhere. He could exist in the survey program. They could exist in the light world. They could exist in the dark world. They could be anywhere, just like Ralsei. They exist in all of fiction, pretty much too, because the whole reality thing, like shattered across time and space. Friend is shattered across time and space. There's two beings that could possibly be sharing all the worlds that we go to. The one that we have and the one that Gaster has. It's crazy. So like, we're doing this whole thing again, right? Video games, movies, books, they're all here. They're all here. So like, gosh, I'm back in this again. I'm back in this hole. Like, I don't know. It's such a cool idea too, because like Friend is kind of like, they kind of facilitate RNG in a way, because like all their stuff about them kind of like hints at that, with like trying to make people's dreams come true and all that, with like, you know, Spamton and all that. So it just feels right. But at the same time, we don't know much about Friends, so I feel like if I go too deep, I'm gonna be like completely wrong. I don't know what to make of this. I think the least I can do is like try to figure out who Friend is in the light world, because Friend is a Ralsei. They could take any form. Who could they be? Who are they? There's someone. I don't think they're Jockington, because Ralsei is Jockington. Yeah, no. So if Friend is Gaster's Ralsei, who are they? Give me a guess. Give me a guess, Regionade. Give me a guess.
I mean, I got a random name to throw out there. I don't think this is true. I even talked about it in the Jockington video that it's probably not the case, but just because of the connections, Caddy.
Which one?
The one with the I.
It's the Y.
Oh, shit.
I believe it's Caddy with a Y, because it's the moment in chapter 4 where they're all in the church, and she memorized the prophecy without notes. That is so unlike her. Like, how do you know that prophecy without... Like, even Alvin is like, you, memorized it. Like, even he's like, what? How do you... What? And how does she know what Ralsei looks like? With the whole, like, he has, like, horns or something? IDKY, I just imagine him as, like, cute. Like, how do you know this? There are no pictures in the prophecy.
It's a real... I've thought about that a lot. It's just, that's such a random specific thing to say. Why?
Yes,
do you know that?
Why do you know that? And, like, the thing that freaks me out, that is, like, the dead giveaway, is that, like, you can just make her laugh forever if you really wanted to. Like, she does not stop laughing until you exhaust the dialogue that Susie has. So, if we are to think that, she's aware of the player! She knows the player! Like, what?! And they sit next to... Oh my gosh! Chapter 2! Caddy is sitting next to Ralsei in the diner. As Jockington. Friend, as Caddy, is sitting next to Ralsei as Jockington. So, Caddy with an I, she's being sworn by, like, shapeshifters. What? both
really good point.
Both her friend and her sister are not them right now. They're other people being... What? And, like, she drops the foretold by time and space line. How do... Okay. So, yeah. Ralsei exists in all of fiction. Friend exists in all of fiction. I have a hunch, a crazy hunch, that, like, so, like, ever since we've been born, Friend has known Ralsei. Are Ralsei and Friend, like, friends? Do they know each other? Because, like, not only do they sit next to each other in the diner, but they also sit next to each other at church. Like, and Friend calls him cute. They both exist in all of fiction, so it kind of makes sense. And the line, you know, I support my friends through thick and thin. Like, he is saying that next to Chris and Caddy with a Y. I don't know, it feels stupid, but it's such a funny concept that I thought about it and I put on Twitter, I put,
Ralsei and friend, new ship. I just came up with S tier, S tier, S tier. It might even be canon. Ship name, friends. I'm
just like, and I'm just imagining the first time we see friend, chapter 5 properly. Ralsei just goes up, it's just like high five. It's like,
yeah, hugs him.
Yeah,
yeah, hugs them. Yeah.
But like, I know the most like common and idea that people have of friend is that evil demon
Gaster a scary being that kidnapped children.
But like, I definitely think that it's probably involved with the death stuff in some way. There's a lot of
you're absolutely right.
Towards that.
Always at your humble service. You know, always at your humble service.
It's a servant is the thing, which is why I don't think it's evil.
Yeah.
I mean, it's named friend. I don't know, man. Maybe. But like, it's a servant. Someone made it do that.
Yes, someone made it do that.
Who was it?
Who was it? Right. Always at your humble service. Since Gaster is cool with just letting anything happen, friend would be cool with anything happening.
Gaster did it. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. So honestly, I mean, whether or not they're exactly friends, they definitely could be. I feel like they could know each other in some way.
They know each other. They 100% know each other. Because, like, Ralsei... So, I believe that Ralsei just straight up makes the cutscenes that he shows. And, like, in Chapter 3, Friend just shows up in his cutscene.
That is a good point.
My throat is so dead right now, but I gotta keep going. I have like 12 more slides. Excuse me. I want to compare the two. So, we got Ralsei, and we have Friend. Ralsei, you know, he helps Chris and Susie, and he has friends now, thanks to, you know, us recruiting a bunch of people and all that. And Friend, they just kind of help everyone, regardless of their alliance. So it can kind of be like alienating. The idea that like you kind of just help everyone, like you can't really make like real connections because like you don't really have any like morals or anything. You kind of just do whatever. And Ralsei is very much apparently he's just becoming more himself, and that could potentially put him in the light world as himself. Whereas Friend, he's very much just a tool that facilitates RNG. They potentially entered Cat Peddlers 4 because the whole thing about the special egg that left home due to happiness.
The egg.
Yeah. I think that might have been Friend who entered because, you know, Friend is a Ralsei. They could just do that. They could just enter fiction. And, you know, Ralsei has a deep connection with the player. Friend doesn't get that. Not even from, like, Gaster, I bet. And Ralsei always talks about Caddy with an I, but never Caddy with a Y. So there's also neglect from Ralsei's part for Friend, if we are to assume they are Caddy. Friend possibly caused Death's disappearance, possibly influences Spamton's success and failure. And Friend is just more of a tool than a character. And Ralsei is more friendly. He is more friend than friend. Like, that's crazy. And Friend is like more scary. We're terrified of this thing. We're thinking it's like the most evil thing of all time. So like, it feels like Friend is like an inferior version of Ralsei, and would like spark like crazy amounts of like, I don't know, like jealousy or something. Like,
oh shit.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no! 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 This relationship is doomed! It's doomed! So, Ralsei is more real than Friend. Ralsei did what Friend couldn't do across time and space. Friend existed for all of eternity, and Ralsei just is more Friend than Friend. So like, yeah, and Ralsei as Jockeyton neglects Friend as Caddy, because in the scene where you first go to Jockeyton, and talk to him, he goes, "Chris, followed you. Bet you thought I was Caddy." But he says Caddy with an I. Like, Caddy with an I is not even here. Did you think of Caddy with a Y, but change it to Caddy with an I because that's your character? You just neglect Caddy with a Y, who's playing as Friend?
And like, you know, like friend is stuck to their role, right? Of being like, you know, the RNG person, the RNG friend that, you know, always at everyone's humble service, regardless of alliance. But it's slowly revealing that Ralsei could be anything, do anything. Like he's starting to become his own self, whereas friend doesn't have that. So, yeah, and yeah, I think with the whole line of like, you know, whenever you first meet Jockeyton in chapter 1, the whole idea of like, Chris, you know, Jockeyton and Caddy are always partners. We seem different, but me and Caddy have a ton in common. We both like breathing and unhinging our jaws. Like, y'all don't have any commonalities, I don't think. I just straight up think like breathing and unhinging your jaws, like, I don't think Jockeyton and I don't think you and Caddy are more similar. I think you and Caddy with a Y are similar because y'all are both friends and side people. And yeah, I think the festival will be the last straw to make this happen if it does. Because like Ralsei will 100% go with Chris. I think that's what's going to happen if there's like a moment where like, who should I go with? Like it's going to be Chris. It's going to be Chris 100%. Because Susie will go with Noelle. Who will Ralsei go with? You know? So, so overall, if we are to assume, you know, the whole like, what do you two think? Where like Gaster had our Ralsei in mind. He had our Ralsei in mind for the story, and not his own. Aww. That's crazy to think about. And would 100% fuel this whole jealousy thing. Because, like, your friend who has been with you since forever did not get the same treatment, and you're probably going to retaliate somehow through our own Ralsei. This would be such an amazing 1v1 fight. I think it'd be phenomenal. I think it would literally, like, again, like I said, I'm making stuff up as I go along, but it just feels more and more like cool, like perfect and cool. But at the same time, like, I don't know. We still don't know what friend is, truly. All right, go ahead, Ray Jane. Sorry.
I have to say, I have never thought of the Inferno of Jealousy even like being necessarily related to friend in any way, but I mean it does directly before that talk about a field of pink and gold.
Pink and gold.
It's like maybe I don't know. It's a reference to friend right before it, so
I think it'd be so cool. It would literally explain a 1v1 fight with Ralsei and friend. I've seen people like throw around the idea of like who, like, you know, in terms of like fighting against people, like Chris has like ERAM, or like us the player, maybe even Susie has like, you know, Gerson and sort of like a funny little, you know, platonic sort of like fun like friend way. But then Ralsei, it has to be someone who's like him. It has to be. That'd be so cool. And it would be like a shapeshifter battle. That'd be so cool. But like there's so much uncertainty to it because again, friend, so unknown. Oh my gosh, I have my contacts on right now and I've just been rubbing my eyes so bad that I can't see anything. What's the next slide? Okay, we're gonna talk about Ralsei and him being scared because it's very apparent that as these chapters have gone on, there's something that's bugging him. There's something that's been bugging him. So I want to talk about chapter 3 real quick. So it's very evident that the Mansell game is freaking him out. Him being like, you know, Susie goes like, "Were you scared?" And Ralsei goes, "I just didn't know what was over there. It could have been trouble." Like he knows, like he says he doesn't know, but like he has the hunch. He has the ability to know that something bad is in there that is terrifying him. And he isn't freaked out by Jevil or Spamton, so this is something that may even influence him like beyond the game. And it gets to the point where like whenever you go to the S rank room, he kind of like plays video games to distract himself. Like he literally experiences escapism for the first time because of this scary thing. Like that's crazy. Like he does not want to think about Chris going into the Mansell game to play it. He just wants to play games and, you know, forget about it all. So like, what's the big deal? Why are you so scared, bro? And it made me think about a comment made me remind you something. So this person just says, if Ralsei is the river person in some sort of cloaked persona of time, is he the death scythe seeker boss Spamton is terrified of?
And I was like, no, far from it. Ralsei's the opposite. Instead of like killing stuff, he like gives it life. He makes fiction come to life. So, and then I thought about that line. I thought about the line, the line that Spamton says about like, puppet. I don't want to talk like, I'm done talking like, I don't want to even talk like Spamton right now because my voice is so dead. But yeah, Spamton mentions, puppet, cat, thunder, light, dark, star. Just watch out for the beep that use death, scythe. Never again. So dark star, that refers to night. Puppet cat, that refers to Spamton. Like puppet for Spamton, dark for night. And death and scythe is for Jevil. But it seems like the wording seems like multiple people use it. Because I think, because like dark and star, only dark applies to the night. Puppet cat, only puppet applies to Spamton. Scythe would apply to Jevil. Who would apply for death? It feels very Grim Reaper sounding. So, much like how Ralsei brings dreams to life, is there someone who kills dreams, who takes them and turns them into nightmares, perhaps? Or something of the sort. And yeah, Weird Route feels like a crazy subversion of Deltarune. It is literally like, it's like slowly killing it, pretty much, this whole game, turning it into a nightmare. And who is responsible for this? Ray, can you give me some guesses? Who could potentially be a part of this?
Responsible for the Weird Route?
Yeah.
Well, the player, right?
Okay, yeah, you are right actually on that. There's characters tied to this. There's a character tied to the Weird Route that I feel like will be important later.
Characters tied to the Weird Route that'll be important later. Iram?
I think so. I think very much so. So, much like Ralsei, Iram can see past the dark. I can see in the dark, all that crap. And they're linked to the Weird Route thing. The thing that the Weird Route is killing the game. It's turning it into a nightmare. Iram backwards is mare, nightmare. And Chris takes damage from this thing, who is within a deeper level of fiction. So, this game is hurting Chris in between fiction. How are you doing that? So, the game is kind of dying along with Chris. So, think about that now. If Iram attacks Ralsei, who is an extension of us, we are going to take damage. We're screwed! We're screwed! That's such a crazy thought to have. The idea that maybe Iram could, hurt Ralsei and it would just literally, kill us. Whoa. And Ralsei is, the embodiment of dreams. Iram would be killing the dreams because Nightmare, killing it, making it not happy anymore.
I'm pretty sure there was, some VR headset that was being made one time that would just kill you or something. That's just what I don't know. Let me look that up. Oh no, this is just apparently a real thing. Okay.
Why? Who made that?
He did this to commemorate the anime Sword Art Online. This is the founder of Oculus who did this.
What?
I don't think it's, but,
what does it do?
Hold on.
How does it kill you?
Opted for explosive modular charge. What the fuck? Chapter 7, Toby just ships this to your house. You just explode when Ralsei takes damage and dies.
Yeah. If this funny little idea happens, I think it it definitely wouldn't actually be hurting you, but there would be a cool visual to show that it is killing you.
Or if if Ralsei dies and
the game dies or something. I don't know.
Could be the case. I don't know.
Yeah, again, so much of this may not even happen. I just want to. I'm throwing literally everything out there. I'm closing the book on this whole story. This is my final. This is my final draw. This is my final presentation. I'm showing everything. And I think it's fun to just talk about, to just play with toys. We're essentially just playing with toys at this point, of the idea of what if this happens? What if this happens? Because it's fun. It's a fun thought process with this character that is just super important. I guess if we want to go even further, if we want to go even more crazy, more of a crack theory, in Escape Chasm, there's a cutscene in a TV where 3 heroes fight a vampire-looking guy, and one of them transforms into a beast. It might be 1v1 Ralsei Iram. Might be a hint. I don't know. This game came from 2019, so if this was a hint, then it could very well be retconned, because Toby did say that he found ways to improve the story of Deltarune, so maybe this doesn't even happen. But It's just a stupid idea. It could very well be hinting at it. It could not. It could literally just be Temmie just coming up with stuff that is not even relevant. I wanted to put it out there because when I got to this point of the game, I just thought, yo, that the 3 heroes, 1 guy. That's Deltarune. Okay, I'm done talking about ERAM. I'm talking about Ralsei's freedom because I believe he is the most free of the fun gang in terms of like what he can do. But he's held back by the prophecy plus the player experience. He respects the player as someone who is learning along with the two of them, the Chris and Susie. So he doesn't get in the way of anyone. And you know, he doesn't want to like take, you know, priority and like spoil everything. Because if he spoils everything, then like, what's the point of playing the game? He knows that we play these games for the mystery of it all. He's not going to say everything. And the line that Jevil says of, you know, I can do anything. Ralsei in chapter 4 goes, I'll do all the work. I don't think that's hyperbole. I think he can literally like just like do anything. I feel like he can literally do anything because like after they all defeat Spamped and Neo, it flies over his head because he thinks of it as just a corrupted program, and it comes off this way because he's like very happy and all that. But in that same scene, he goes out of bounds. Like, you can't stand there. How are you doing that? And it makes sense why Chris is freaked out. They get goosebumps in this scene. So like, yeah, I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you, Chris. Like, that makes sense why the Ralsei T isn't working for you, because like you are someone who only has knowledge within this world. How does Ralsei like know the future if we're to assume that the cool idea that, you know, current Ralsei talking to past Chris, like, yeah, I think within chapter 2, Ralsei was very much like just like along for the ride, and he didn't realize how much his importance, his like role, his power freaks people out. And I think he's realized this for chapter 3 and 4 by downplaying it, possibly, maybe, I don't know. Like, yeah, I think Ralsei is probably like one of the most powerful characters in this game. He's the Kirby of this universe, where like he has like he looks cute, but like he could just he's like insane. He's cracked. And then
I am a believer. He's gotta have something. There's gotta be something crazy he does.
Yeah, it makes me think like Weird Route will go hard. Weird Route
Ralsei fight. Let's go.
It would go so hard. So yeah, I believe Ralsei could do so much more. And one of the things that I think people have been coping for, but also have given up on, is Penumbra Phantasm. People have given up on this, but I'm coping because Ralsei starts cutscenes. But does he also make them? Because when you play the Legend song, that, you know, this song plays whenever Ralsei shows off his little cutscene, he blushes when you play it. So he's like flattered by it. Like, oh, like, and he's like shocked by it. So it makes me think, did he make this song? Did he somehow make this song? And that'd be really interesting, because if we think about Penumbra Phantasm, Toby Fox has stated, no Homestuck songs. We're not doing any Homestuck. But Ralsei may change that without Toby even knowing, because Ralsei is kind of like insanely powerful. So could he make Penumbra Phantasm himself? He could possibly do it. And like, it makes sense if he were to make it, because the song comes from another world. That would make perfect sense as to why it happens and why it exists. Because Ralsei can come from that same world, because we won't shut up about this song. We won't shut up about it, and Ralsei is aware of it at this point, and we'll just make it happen. He'll just make it happen. And if this does happen, it would just symbolize that like his selflessness has been like nuked. It's like it's shattered, like literally like gone, like nuked, like out of the world, right? So yeah, that's what I think. That might happen. It'd be really fun. It'd be really cool. It may happen. I don't even know where it would be, where it would happen, but I feel like it will happen somehow, like someday. It'd be cool.
It would be really cool. I mean, I know it wasn't the exact same in the Holy, but I know there is something that like at least is very similar to Penumbra Phantasm in that. So
yeah, there's been a lot of debates on if this song ever has this song been in Deltarune.
Yeah, I know it's similar. I know it's not the exact same thing, which if in a literal sense we ever do get like the motif of Penumbra Phantasm, I don't think we'd actually get the actual straight up song just because of the the other Homestuck motifs that are.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we can't get the actual main motif back at any point, whether in the same altered a bit. That could that could happen because that is something that Toby made, and like I think when he said no Homestuck songs, it's like the entire song, and that's not like the Penumbra Phantasm motif is there, but it's like that's not the entire song, There's more to it. You can't put the entirety of it there because there's like the Doc motif and stuff like that from Homestuck. I haven't read Homestuck. I just know that's
me neither. I gotta get on that.
I could see it coming back. Also, he said that there's no Homestuck songs. Toby's been a pathological liar.
Yeah.
He just lies about.
He lies about some stuff.
He was like, oh yeah, chapter 3. There's not really gonna be anything too crazy like story wise. Hey, guess what? Here's the night.
Here is the night.
What's up? But like he's lied about this game before. Who knows? That could be a lie. He could just be saying.
Right.
But
and this is like the in-universe way of saying that like he's not gonna do it, but someone else can.
But Ralsei is. Who knows?
Who knows? Again, a lot of This is another moment of cope, but non-zero chance.
Non-zero chance.
I think we're on the final 3 slides. It's time we talk about the elephant in the room. The part of the prophecy that is so strange. And I think through your video, I figured out what it means. We're talking about Jockeyton grows the beard. So
yeah.
So Ralsei has been Jockeyton since chapter 1. The line of Chris, Jockeyton and Caddy are always partners. That's literally him talking to the player, as you've said. And that whole idea of growing the beard, like the metaphor, right? According to TV tropes, they say, this often involves a new writer or other creative person coming on board or the happy discovery of a popular character. Both of these things are just feel like Ralsei. Because the way, I'm going to explain this more. So there's 2 prophecies to this. There's 2 Jockeyton grows the beard prophecies. There's one stating 5 o'clock and before midnight the shadow will grow. So there's 2 sides of this. Either 5 o'clock, before midnight, could be both of them, could not. There's 2 of them. So it feels like it's like a one or the other type thing maybe. I don't know. So Ralsei is the shadow that the organic NPCs talk about. So if Ralsei's going to grow, he's in the dark world. Growing out of the dark world. Could he be in the light world, right? Light world Ralsei could happen in chapter 5. And Jockeyton looks like the cool S. It's the cool S. And that symbolizes writing over text. People draw the cool S over textbooks and art and stuff. So it kind of gives off the idea of writing over the prophecy. And 5 o'clock, I feel like that represents chapter 5. Even though, 5 o'clock shadow, but I feel like that has merit.
Could be double meaning.
Double meaning, right? But what about before midnight? The before midnight one is strange to me because it feels more specific. And if the way that I've thought about it worked, this might be the craziest game ever made. So in chapter 4, there's 2 songs. There's 12 a.m. and then there's 13 a.m. And 13 a.m. is used when Ralsei is in deep distress. It's in both the scenes where he's on the floor crying.
It's the Ralsei emotional torment song.
Pretty much.
That's what I've been calling it.
Pretty much. And it being 13 a.m., that doesn't exist. That time doesn't even exist. Unless we're talking about military time, but whatever. Well, or not even that.
It wouldn't even exist in military time.
No, yeah, it just straight up wouldn't. So
yeah.
I feel like that name exaggerates that we are past midnight, that we're too late. It's past midnight. And the before midnight prophecy happens, you see the one that says they'll hear the ring of heaven's call, and then you go to the Jockeyton grows the beard one about before midnight. And the organic NPC calls the ancestors crazy. And I always assume the ancestors being referring to the devs of this game. So saith our ancestors, so saith the devs of the game. crazy fellows a lot. Like, they're crazy for coming up with this because there might be a big risk involved with this. And the bird goner thing stresses to not wait. And that obviously comes from Ralsei because Ralsei is the bird goner thing. But when you do wait at that little place that I thought what he was talking about, nothing happens. Nothing happens. It's like Susie's like, I hear a song. Speak your mind. Why are you talking with your mouth? Nothing really crazy happens. So I don't think he's talking to Chris. I think he's talking to the player, right? Because like, don't wait, don't. Like the exclamation points for the final one. Ralsei is telling us to not wait. To after you're finished with the game, don't just twiddle your thumbs or like stop, not do anything. Like, do something. Was I right? Was I right about all this? Like me saying like, you know, like I think with the power of all of us we can get a good ending. Was I not? Like I was saying that as like, you know, like a powerful like call to action. Like talk about it. Talk about theories. Could this change the game? Could there be an update where Ralsei is in the light world in chapter 4? Because like the light world, after you do the whole Carol stuff, it's empty. It's literally perfect for him to just be there and not change much at all about the game. It feels like you go to like maybe like the lake and he's just there or something like that, something crazy like that. Like the fact that the light world is so empty would be perfect for just him to just show up, and it would be such an easy thing to update for the game. And it had like a very cute cutscene where Chris and Susie find them and they're all crying and all that. Oh wow, it's like the dream is being fulfilled by us with Ralsei in it. Like he's fulfilling the dreams just from us realizing this. What? This would be crazy. It'd be. This is like major cope, but like it would. So I have a funny hashtag. Hashtag grow that beard. Ralsei, grow it. The metaphorical beard. I don't even think the beard is not literal. I straight up think. It's literally metaphorical to show that he can literally change the story depending on his like courage to like change it. He can literally go back in time and change the story. That's what this means. And like it could not happen like before chapter 5. It could happen along with chapter 5. Maybe chapter 5 happens and then you can go back to chapter 4 and he would just be in the light world. Maybe that happens. Maybe this theory, like people becoming aware of this theory, maybe it's not going to do anything. Maybe I'm just like coping and like I'm thinking like, oh, spread it more. No, like this has to be what that's referring to, the before midnight thing. Chapter 4 is gonna get an update where Ralsei like changes something. That's what this means. One of the coolest games ever. One of the coolest games ever that I've ever played. Mm-hmm. Thoughts. Final thoughts, because this is the final slide.
Ralsei, grow the fucking beard.
Grow that beard, bro. Grow that beard. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about this too. I think one of the save points literally mentions like you imagine Ralsei with a beard. What?
Shit. That's true. It's after you meet Gerson. It's the first save point there.
Yes.
The old man's. The old man's existence made you imagine Ralsei with a beard. You were
and with Gerson is
power
saying,
of conceptually bearded Ralsei.
Yes, and Gerson is like, why don't we write in between the lines? That whole idea of writing in between the lines.
Like, changing the prophecy.
How
you interpret it.
In the blank spaces. Ralsei is the blank space. He could change it. Ah, Tony Phony. This is the peak of my insanity. This is like the literal peak of my insanity. Like I didn't even get this crazy even with the original video. Like,
I don't even know what to say. I mean, honestly, just thinking about that save point right now, that is, with the context of everything we just talked about, just very interesting.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Grow that beard, bro. Grow it. Yeah, I think that's it. I literally have no more things to think about. I'm sapped. I've literally been so tired. I want to make stuff for this character, but I just can't because I keep coming up with stuff that keeps me up at night. And I think Toby feels this way as well. Because there's so many hints. There's so many hints.
In 2018, on the idea of like it's been keeping him up at night in a twit longer, that whole twit longer that he posted after Chapter 1 released, he did outright say that he's been like over the past 3 years waking up in the middle of the night thinking about scenes in the game. So, I mean,
and the fact that like he manifests in your dreams, Toriel is sleeping. The fact this game is riding on the idea of dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and he came up with this in a fever dream. The ending of the game. I gotta take a break. I gotta take a break from making stuff about this character because it's literally I need to recover. I can't. I have college coming. My final semester is coming up. I need to lock in. I don't even know if I want to be a computer scientist anymore. Like I'm majoring in computer science, but like because like I love making this stuff. I love talking about art. I make it because I'm an artist first and foremost. I want to fulfill that so bad, but it's so hard in the world we live in, and I want to make my dreams come true, just like what Ralsei is trying to do. So, yeah, this journey has given me all the meaning in the world. It genuinely has, and I'm gonna keep it for the rest of my life. Thank you for the watch. Thank you for watching. I'm done.
No problem.
I'm done.
Just a little treat. And then the sun was like, I don't like you though. And then one of the rays of sun coming off of him flew into the guy and stabbed him and killed him. Then it warned you to wear sunscreen.
What's down there?
It's a PSA.
I think this is lost media. I only remembered this right now. I don't know who made it.
I'm not supposed to be here.
No, there's a house down there.
Yeah, so I guess
Who are you?
has some like.
Who are you?
Everybody. Whereas Jerry, it's more I don't like you in particular.
Yeah.
Who are you? Okay, sure. Why? You never went. King? Yeah! We are the king or queen or thing. King! Wait! Shush!
Originally this is where we were going to have the green radioactive fox on a skateboard and sunglasses. This is the art drawn by Cap.
Wow. He's playing a DJ
While
set?
I'm at it, I will show more Cap.
In the grand tradition of April Fool's jokes, people were not entirely pleased with it.
Yeah. It lives on to this day in my memory. Can we get a quick update on the options from the control room?
It's time to sit on your tuffet.
No. There's a serious moment in the game. You could.
Boy, cat dog, what a crazy thought.
Yeah. That's too crazy.
Yeah, I can almost imagine it, but not quite.
Yeah. Too tough to visualize. Incentive complete.
Good work.
I wanted to show him because I like him.
French name?
Sans.
S.A.
So.
N. Give me a sand.
Medicines Papyrus Frontier. There's that fox again.
Just a reminder.
Thank you.
Never forget.
Stop!
Most of all, Toby, thank you. Thank you for entrusting us with this. Thank you for this game, and for this community.
No worries, it's all you guys. Fox.png. Everyone drew such amazing art. And everyone had such amazing memories. I'm proud of you guys. Let's finish this and go home.
Alright, folks.
Maybe Chara wasn't the greatest person, but I will shoot out a giant rainbow-colored laser to get them to stay by my side for a moment longer. Okay, oko.
Alright, I think our time here in the ruins is coming to an end, but we would like to invite some of the people out who made this possible. This is not a small thing. So if the crew would please.
Yeah, it is. Come on.
Fade out. Okay, turns out I'm not done. It is currently Sunday, October 12th, and I have, we are in a post 10th anniversary world, and there's some stuff that happened. There's a lot of stuff that happened that I have to talk about. It is super important to everything, and I have to get it out. I can't just upload this without talking about it. So, here we go. So, throughout September, people were expecting the 10th anniversary stuff to drop, specifically a newsletter. This turned into days and weeks of waiting, and eventually we got it. It didn't have anything like insanely crazy. Like it was nice to read. There was a cute little papyrus drawing at the start that I thought was really cute. But other than that, not much to go off of. But what was very exciting was the 10th anniversary stream, and seeing this and the potential behind it. It felt like I was constipated, not gonna lie. It felt like I was on the verge of poop jumping, but it just didn't happen. And I just thought, this was perfect. It's the perfect format to leave hints about all of this, because the game is gonna be 100% different, similar to how the Deltarune Chapter 1 replay stream was. So it just made sense. And I was just so excited and anticipating for, encountering the river person, Muffet, Azrael at the end of the game. I was expecting like at least one of those to be different, and I was just like, oh, once that hits, I pride myself. I pride myself on like, you know, social media, specifically Twitter, saying like there could be something in here. So I was really worried. Not gonna lie, I was really worried. And yeah, for the 10th anniversary of a game that has touched the hearts of so many people, it only made sense for both Toby and all of our Ralseis to shine. But I didn't expect them to shine like this. There is so much to analyze throughout this 10th anniversary stream, and I need to show all the prerequisite stuff, because if I show this all blindly on like a random thread or something, I'm gonna look insane. And I hope by talking about this and knowing about the prior stuff, the previous presentations, I'm not insane. This all feels so real, and I need to add it to this video. So here we go. So, within the Hotland segment, Toby shows off concept art for this character. It is a green radioactive fox, you know, Toby Radiation Fox. That is the whole thing behind this funny guy. And when I first saw it, I was none the wiser. I was like, okay, cool, that's a pretty cool thing. And then he shows this concept art, which I was like, okay, cool. It's a lot of other characters plus more of a fox. So yeah, this fox is, you know, it's just regular concept art. And, you know, that's totally fine. It's cool concept art. It's very funny. But as the stream went on, they revealed that there was an incentive to fight Muffet. And this got me so worried. I went to Twitter and I was like, hey, if you could, you know, if you had money to spare, donate to the Muffet incentive. Because, you know, it is for a good cause. And at the same time, I was just like, if there's something that they're hiding behind that, I need to see it. I have to see it. Because Muffet is one of like the 3 like coolest parts about Undertale Ralsei stuff. But unfortunately, I primed myself up for it, for a change. Nothing changed. And it was kind of just like deflating, and I was just like, huh. But after the fight, he flashes this image. This image right here is linked to Muffet, which at first I didn't think of much of. I was like, okay, he just wanted to show off the guy because, you know, he liked the character. I was like, okay. But then they use the river person to go back to Snowdin. And before they get off of the river person ride, the fox shows up again, along with Toby saying, just a reminder, never forget. So the river person is now a part of this. You know, just like never forget, kind of similar to don't forget. So at this point, now Muffet and the river person are connected to this fox. And it's at this point that I started getting sus. I was like, this is starting to feel like this feels like a connection. It feels like Toby's deliberately connecting. Boom, boom. Like, these are 2 of the craziest things about Ralsei's, like, prevalence in Undertale, and now there's now a link, a common link from the stream, from a stupid fox. So the day 1 stream comes to a close with no more fox image crap. I thought, okay, there could be some doubts on this. Toby may genuinely be showing off the character with no real connection, and it's just coincidence. But the day 2 stream happens, and this fox keeps appearing up after moments that I can easily tie to Ralsei. Day 2's first instance of this fox comes from when they're battling the Night Knight, who, during this fight, Toby is talking about, you know, holy and meteor attacks were inspired for these fights. And, you know, roaring night, night, this is the clear connection, and, you know, the night is most like possibly a Ralsei that comes from someone else. And also the idea that holy attacks, Ralsei comes from us, and we would assume, you know, player Angel, Ralsei could very well be capable of doing holy attacks because he comes from the Angel's Heaven. The second appearance of this fox in day 2 comes from the Wormostat. When it's hot, the worm will move. When it's cold, the worm will move. What does Junkinson say during his whatever shape the world takes, I'll be there dialogue? I support my friends through thick and thin, long and short, cold and hot, like the Wormostat. Then, shortly after, Toby shares this dialogue, where Mettaton makes a list of all your friends, and then shortens it down to the list of friends that are capable of answering Mettaton's question. And the only one capable of answering the question is Papyrus. And throughout it, Mettaton is like, you know, Papyrus is very excited, like, wow, I'm on a show, do I get a room? All that stuff. And the question that Mettaton asks is, do you understand what is happening? And Papyrus answers, sometimes. And Mettaton goes, that wasn't the question, but you got it right. Why is this linked to the fox? But this isn't the only time Papyrus is connected to this fox. Once they finish the neutral route and they get to the ending little dialogue with Sans, Papyrus, and Undyne talking through the phone, it mentions, Papyrus is the only member of the Royal Guard. And after Undyne's message right here, the fox shows up. And Toby says, there he is, the one member. But, and he shows the fox! Why is Papyrus a part of this? And if we're to assume Papyrus is like the only member of the Royal Guard, then Papyrus is like really freaking powerful, I think. When does that come up? And then a couple hours down the road of the day 2 stream, we get to the post-pacifist stuff. And they go to New Home, where they have the nose nuzzling competition. And, Toriel, Undyne, Papyrus, Monster Kid, they all participate through this competition. And Papyrus's dialogue, it's crazy! It's just straight up confirming it!
But soon, your heart will suddenly explode with joy! You are already friend! This you will think and say. It might take a while, so when it happens, please give me a ring on the skelephone.
So if seconds after this moment happens, the fox appears, and the fox represents Ralsei, who in this moment is Ralsei? It could very well be all 4 of the characters showing up. But then again, these characters are coming from different sides of the screen, like one comes from the top, the bottom, the left, the right. So maybe it's like 4 Ralseis that are popping up. Wait a minute. 4 Ralseis? 4 dads? And the final moment where this fox appears that literally like blew my mind and made me go crazy was after this talk, this moment with Azriel that means so much to me now that I'm hearing about all this. Like, it meant so much to me like before, but now that it's like, you talking, a section of you, Ralsei, there's a link now. There's a link to this now. There's a moment that Toby is deliberately telling us that, hey, it could be this, right? So the 3 biggest moments from Undertale that are linked to Ralsei, this fox shows up in. This is crazy! Before the day 2 stream ends, Reed ends it off with a thank you to Toby Fox, saying, thank you for making the game, and thank you for making the community. And Toby responds with, no worries, it's all you guys, fox.png. The fox represents you and Ralsei. Ralsei is a character that is influential to your experience in all of fiction, including Undertale, all of these things. This is so special, and it's an amazing message. It is a beautiful message from Toby that all of us matter. All of us matter in making this game what it is. And yeah, this stream is just beautiful. It is amazing. So although I'm laser focused on this fox in particular, there are other foxes that I gotta bring up. Like, for example, this one, the orange one, and the white one. This white one comes from this other concept art too, where it's now bigger and more clear. And these foxes have multiple tails. And when I think of a fox with multiple tails, I think of kitsunes. And what is a kitsune's defining ability? Shapeshifting. Shapeshifting and having, like, boundless knowledge. The amount of tails they have correlates to the amount of knowledge that they have. So, this is what I'm thinking about. This is stuff from a random website that I pulled up, but these this like type of character, they can either be good or mischievous. Good being Ralsei, and mischievous like friend. I think this would be the perfect form for Ralsei to reveal himself, because it just feels like such a accurate representation, an accurate like description of what our shadow friends are. They are characters who exist in all of fiction. They take all these different forms to aid us, or do some funny stuff like what Friend's doing. So yeah, it would just be a perfect form for him to just reveal himself. But would it be his true form? I highly doubt it. I don't know. It just feels wrong, because like we all live different lives. Why would all our Ralseis look the same, right? I feel like it'd be a lot more impactful if within Deltarune maybe there's a story about kitsunes that make Ralsei like realize that, yo, this would be the perfect form to reveal myself in. That's what I'm gonna do. And it's like, yo, that is such a perfect representation, like perfect description of like how, art can not only change your own art, like inspire you to make your own art, but it could also inspire you to like, change yourself to be like a more authentic version of you. And I think that'd be such a beautiful message. That'd be so freaking cool. Okay, because of this kitsune stuff, I now gotta talk like I don't know anything, because now I gotta talk about Homestuck for a bit. So once I interpreted Ralsei as these foxes, which linked to the whole kitsune stuff, it made me think of, Penumbra Phantasm and this stupid image that gets popped up in all the representations of it. And I was like, who is this character even? It's got to be something from Homestuck, right? And it is. It is a character named Aquarel, who is the, oh my gosh, you can't even see that, right? This is the guardian of Jade Harley. And in Homestuck, guardians are characters who are directly linked to the Homestuck characters. They ain't Homestuck characters. So this is a loose sort of like link to this concept in Homestuck and the Shadow Friends, the Ralseis. As much as I do want to be like, well, Penumbra Phantasm, likely, no, likely, it's probably going to be very different if it does happen, because Toby did mention within the stream that the Doctor motif that appears in Hopes and Dreams, that was a tribute to someone who, the artist of that motif who sadly passed away. So he does not feel inclined to add that in any of his future work because, he has no permission. It doesn't feel right. So I completely get that. That is a totally valid thing to, that is a very valid thing to address and not, want to include. If Penumbra Phantasm does exist within Deltarune, it would be more original. I think that would be a totally fine thing to do and would make for some really cool moments with, having motifs from Deltarune. That'd be really, really sick. Yeah, so Penumbra Phantasm, in the version that we know it currently, is probably not going to be the same. And I am totally cool with that, and if it does happen, it's still going to be pretty awesome. All right, we're done talking about the stupid fox, but the stream does not end there with the hints. There are still characters and moments that show up that feel so relevant to all of this. First off, we got to talk about this lumberjack. Throughout this lumberjack's dialogue, it is very clear that they are just clueless on their existence. Because when we ask them why they cut down these trees and that they're a lumberjack, they're just like, maybe because they look like me? Like, this is a character that only just now existed because of this edited version of the game for the stream, and there's not much to this character. And Ralsei just kind of has to go off of what already exists. And the whole line of, like, I've been cutting myself down, expecting it to have me be stronger, that kind of lines up with Ralsei just, not showing off his, like, being himself and just constantly supporting others, but not him. Their arms got bigger, but their heart sure didn't. The arms to support others, but not the heart that, could be shared between you and Ralsei. This whole idea of, the link between you and Ralsei has not been shown off. There's a disconnect. All of this feels like such a parallel to Ralsei. And this character only concentrates on the trees and not, the rest of the world of Undertale, which lines up with Ralsei always staying on task, not chilling out. Because, the thing with Chapter 3 and him, doing a bit of escapism through the video game, he loses that whole idea of, we gotta do the whole, the fountain, the dark fountain. He's always, like, serious about that. And, this is just like what this character's doing. Focusing on the trees so much, focusing on the task at hand. And near the end of this character's dialogue, there is a moment that I think is so beautiful where this character mentions how, there are worlds that we've never seen, of characters you've never been to, of places you've never went. And that lines up with just the idea that there are pieces of fiction, there are worlds that we've never even seen yet. There's art that you've made that I haven't seen, and there's art that I've made that you haven't seen. Video games, movies, all this stuff that we've never seen. And at the end, this character goes, thanks, you made me realize something important. And sometimes they forget about this, and sometimes we forget about this. Sometimes there's just art that we haven't seen yet and would love to see. So, yeah, this felt really special at that moment. But at the very end, there's additional dialogue where this character talks about even if you went everywhere, you wouldn't see everything. You wouldn't see the places. You wouldn't see everywhere. You wouldn't do everything unless you're our king. As the creator of our own pieces of fiction, we are the only ones who see everything. Unused assets, all the conversations behind the scenes. We are the only ones who see everything as the king, queen thing, whatever. This is such an amazing moment in this stream, and I feel like it is connected to Ralsei. So Ralsei is littered throughout this entire stream, whether that be our Ralsei or the Knight or Toby's Ralsei, they're all here. But there's one Ralsei that we gotta bring up, and that is Friend. Before the stream ended, Toby shared this dialogue that, was unused. It's in an unused room in Undertale where talking about, your friend, the one with the creepy smile, the one behind you. Never mind, seems like he left. This whole thing. Creepy smile, and, being, like, very rare and just, like, in the shadows of just, unused stuff. This feels like Friend. This feels like Gaster crap. It feels like a hint. It feels like a hint at the very end of the stream where they mention, like, there is someone lurking behind the scenes. And I am led to believe that friend might be a part of the stream in one way or another. So first, we gotta talk about our boy, Spamton. So our boy, Spamton just shows up out of nowhere, and he's acting strange straight from the get-go. Like, he's not saying anything. He just grows. He ends up being small, but then grows. And then eventually, dude just turns into a cup. Why did this even happen? Like, hello? Spamton then brings out a floppy disk. This pink and yellow floppy disk with a little smile in the middle. He puts it in the game, and then Papyrus just shows up. You know, the dialogue hasn't changed, but Spamton is, Sans is now Spamton, talking like Spamton. So this thing is, we've changed the game. How did this happen? This whole idea of, a character like changing a game, like this feels very in line with like what Friend can do. Friend existing in all of fiction. We just put Friend in this piece of fiction. We put Spamton in this piece of fiction. And once you sit down with Spamton, he starts to get into a lore dump about him, and it's all done within the square brackets. I always assumed the square brackets were like him trying to talk like Tenna with the funny little fonts, but he can't do that because he's not freaking Tenna. But here, it's really strange. I don't know why this is the case, but once that story is done, Spamton just says it's still a work in progress. Like, what do you mean a work in progress? Your lore is a work in progress? What are you talking about? And within the square brackets just say, what do you think of my brother? Spamton, this is just you, bro. This is not your brother. This is just you. Why are you talking about your brother as if you? And finally, one of the options when getting like your order in, you can either ask for ketchup or catsup. And what Spamton says after you select catsup is very concerning. Spamton says, "Cat, sup." Are the square brackets Friend? Is Friend talking through Spamton within the square brackets? Could Spamton just straight up be Friend? I don't know. Because the glasses are here, right? But, like, I don't know. And that would also explain this whole crap cup, because, like, Friend is a Ralsei, they can just shapeshift. If Friend was Spamton, Friend could just turn into anything and just, Friend just like hid as a cup. I don't know. This is crazy. This part is crazy to me. There's some other Friend connections you can make within this stream, like with the multiple plushes that Fangamer brings out, like the big Toriel plush, the small Toriel plush, the Monster Kid plush. For both of the moments where the Toriel plush comes out, the big and small one, Toby says, "I will be lonely," and then "I am no longer lonely." Like, lonely, the lonely prince, that type of thing. But with the small Toriel plush, Toby goes, "I like having Friend." Like, not friends, but just Friend. And, Papyrus says, "You're already Friend." Like, why are we not saying friends? It feels very much just like magnifying, like, hello, look. And Reed right here is puppeting Toriel. That's what literally he's referring to it as puppeting Toriel, where, Ralsei, Friend, all our Ralseis, they can kind of be like puppets, where they have to provide a role. They have to fit a role where they have to stick to it throughout the entire time of their existence within a piece of fiction. So that lines up. And once Fangamer brings out the Monster Kid plush, Toby goes, that is a plush of the new Friend. It's only here for Friend purposes. So, like, it's making me go insane at this point. I don't really know what to make of it. But I don't know if this is a coincidence, but yellow Monster Kid right next to the pink tutu. Yellow and pink. Was that intentional? I don't know. Very likely not. Very likely not. Who cares? Who cares? Get this out of here. Get out of here. One thing that I definitely don't think is a coincidence, though, is the 3D Toriel pinata. So once the pinata gets hit, what are the colors of the candies that come out? They get yellow and pink. The pinata was Friend. All right, enough about this Friend stuff. Friend break over. I want to talk about something that you might have picked up on, but why is Papyrus getting mentioned so many times throughout this? So Ralsei and Papyrus have parallels. I've known this for a while, but I had my doubts on like a possible connection because it just feels so like not feasible. Similar to how Sans coming from Deltarune and went to Undertale. Like it feels likely, but like how do we get there? Now that I have this and I'm seeing like 3 moments of Papyrus getting mentioned here, this is like a 3 strikes you're out moment. I straight up think now that Ralsei is Papyrus. Let's go back to that anniversary drawing, the one of Papyrus and Frisk. Very, very cute. Right here is confirmed that, yeah, that is an upside down triangle on Papyrus's outfit. Where else do we see this upside down triangle representing a character? On the Prophecy logo for Ralsei! Ah! When Sans and Papyrus do their whole cute little verse thing from the stream, after it, Papyrus goes out of bounds. Who else has gone out of bounds before? Ralsei! Why else were those phone calls from Papyrus so extensive, other than the fact that Papyrus is real? I can go on for hours about the whole Papyrus call stuff, but here are some highlights that I decided to pick out. You can see your reflection in a puddle, but don't let a body of water determine your self-worth. You're hanging out with a friend? Then maybe you should have talked to me. You make them jealous. So you hate this dog, but like weird talking flowers? The flower is my friend! I mean, if having an imaginary friend makes you happy. Oh my god! He's not imaginary! He has a name! What's his name? Flowery? Oh my god! You just made that up! Okay, I did, but he's real! Heading into the core? The core is a huge tower of electric energy, so I don't think your phone will work without it. Oh no! What will you do without us? You have something to do, right? Well, even without words, we'll be with you in spirit, okay? Yeah, you can't get rid of us. We're counting on you, so don't mess this up. I can't remember the exact wording of it. I don't have a thing for it, but I remember when you talked to Sans at one point while talking about Papyrus, Sans mentions that they made the outfit that Papyrus had for like a costume party or something. And within Deltarune, Jackenstein may possibly be used for the festival. Halloween is the anniversary of Deltarune. Is Papyrus going to show up at the festival in Chapter 5? He could very well do that, and like Ralsei would do that. I mean, Papyrus is my favorite character in Undertale. Ralsei is my favorite character in Deltarune. How did the stars align where Papyrus is Ralsei? How did this happen? How is Ralsei Papyrus? How did this happen? This is amazing. This is incredible. I can go on for hours about all this. There are more things that I can connect Ralsei to Papyrus, but I'll leave that to y'all Papyrus heads out there. You know who you are. Get on that. It's so hot out here in Rock Bottom, but I gotta keep going. There's still more that I gotta talk about. So not only is Papyrus talking throughout these calls, but Undyne is talking throughout these calls. If Ralsei's Papyrus, who is Undyne? Undyne says this little thing right here, right? You know, even without words, we'll be with you in spirit. Who's Undyne? Who could that possibly be? So there's three possibilities. There's three likelihoods on what Undyne could be. Undyne could be Ralsei, like, you know, Ralsei is both Papyrus and Undyne, and he's swapping back and forth between them to play as them. Undyne could also be, you know, just straight up Undyne, you know, like Papyrus is Ralsei, Undyne's just straight up Undyne, like there's no like friend that's playing as her. But the third option, which would be really, really funny and really, really cool, Ralsei is Papyrus and friend is Undyne. Ralsei and friend, the dream team, let's go. After I did the Ralsei is real presentation with Ragenade, I went and looked at more Caddy stuff, and I went to the very beginning cutscene in Chapter 1 where Toriel is driving through Hometown, and the moment where Caddy shows up, Caddy is not looking towards the car when she waves. Caddy is looking towards the player. Who else looks towards the player shortly after in that same cutscene? Undyne! Okay, but why does the knight take Undyne? I don't know. I straight up do not know that one. Sorry, this feels like, you know, out of a lot of the things that I've mentioned here, the Undyne stuff could very well not be the case. Undyne could very well just be Undyne in these calls, but I want to put it out there because it is a very funny scenario. So, Friend has played as Caddy, and maybe possibly Undyne, I don't know. And next to that Tale of Hell prophecy that we've, like, said to be, like, related to Friend, what do you get in that chest next to it? The princess ribbon. Is Friend a girl? Ralsei and Friend feel like they're, like, on opposite sides of the spectrum in terms of, like, what they do. Like, Ralsei is order, Friend is chaos. Ralsei is the prince, Friend would be the princess. That'd be so funny and crazy. That'd be so cool. Maybe Friend reveals herself within, like, you know, the Flower King Dark World in a completely different, like, little innocent little form. And Asgard's like, oh, we're perfectly chill, nothing too bad. But then, like, you know, it actually is Friend, and then, like, it's scary and all that. I don't know. I'm making, like, an AU at this point. This is 100% not going to happen, but it feels right. It feels funny. It feels like it'd be a Toby thing to do. Not too long ago, I was watching my sibling play through Deltarune Chapter 4, and we got to this point where a Cupton was on a pillar, and this Cupton mentions, I'm looking for the princess. Or maybe this pillar could be the princess. Maybe the princess is shy or sleeping. I will wait. I will wait. The friend could be that pillar, just straight up. Friend could be that pillar that the Cupton is talking about, because Friend could just shapeshift into that pillar. And Friend would be the princess. Perfect. It's perfect. Like, Y'all might be thinking that my descent started with the anniversary stream and like the anniversary in general, but no. I think it started way before that, because I found out about this 72 uses for snails book that comes with a tutorial apron that, I thought it was relevant to the anniversary, but no, it very well couldn't. This apron may have existed since, 2024, and people are just now realizing what the contents are, but I saw this on Twitter, and it blew my mind. So the first use for snails, it's bootlaces, and in parentheses, not shoelaces. They are specifically like, no, it can't be shoelaces. Similar to how, like, in Undertale, tutorial says snails make for very bad shoelaces. So yeah, all this feels very random, like all this stuff. But then you get to case number 56, and it says, a friend when you needed the most, close proximity to a snail. The uses for snails kind of feel like everything. So snails can be everything, and Ralseis can be everything. That's the connection with line 56. And then, line 57, it just says friend inside me. And then people are going crazy over like, oh, friend inside me. But then once you get to case 71, it's revealed that there aren't 72 cases, just 71. But in cursive, 72 is written after the fact, saying shoelaces, something that is a direct response to case 1. They did not need to go hard for just a random little book you get as a side little bonus for an apron. The blank spaces that represent Ralsei does not have to be in between the beginning and end of the story. It could be after the story ends. There are so many beautiful hints throughout the entirety of Deltarune's existence, even existing as far back as this little line right here. In one of Toby's little interviews, he mentions that there was a character in a game that his brother made that represented him. It was a green mage Toby, and the main character in this game was named Ralsei. And this is mentioned in the same paragraph as mentioning his inclusion. And, he mentions that Ralsei came from Ralsei. Why is this in the same paragraph as mentioning, him being the green mage? The Ralsei represents him, and by extension, us, all of us. Ralsei is, yeah. With all of this out of the way, there is so many connections, like I said, to everything from the anniversary of this. There's so much stuff, history dating back to, tweets, interviews, anniversary stuff, leaving hints. So it's gotten to the point where I am inclined to believe that I have no other choice but to just say that, like, how else am I supposed to say this other than the fact with so many hints that we have that, like, why else would it not be confirmed? I'm inclined to believe it's confirmed now. Of course, not all of it is confirmed. Like, there's some crazy little things that I've talked about, like, the whole thing with friend and being catty and all that. But the bulk of it is, all of fiction is important to Deltarune, thanks to Ralsei, who exists in all of it. Let's run it back, right? Where's all the fiction that Ralsei has gone to, right? So, video games, movies, TV shows, music, ARG, books, dreams. We can also include daydreams for this one, because you don't even have to be sleeping for that one. Like, what? And art. Art is so, like, vast and, like, big. It could just be so many different things that Ralsei could be in. It's everywhere! He's everywhere! And yeah, by extension, all this art, all this fiction, it's connected to Deltarune one way or the other. The Organic sometimes mentions, like, what is Deltarune? What isn't Deltarune? Because that's a very interesting question. This whole story of Deltarune spans so many different aspects of our lives. Where does it start? Where does it end? And then there was another Organic NPC that mentions the whole, you took in May, you take stuff and in gray, trace it over, repeat it again and again, and made it your own, something like that, something of the sort. And this Organic then later mentions, we're all liars, all of us. And these Organic NPCs are kind of carrying the prophecy's knowledge. And this sort of interpretation that I have with this now is that, our own headcanon and interpretation of this game is, more important. That, who cares about whatever else, is involved with Deltarune? Our AUs, the art that we make from this game, plays a part in all this. Alternate universes, theories, and headcanons are all influential to making our Ralseis what they are. Because all of our interpretations of Deltarune are canon, by extension, they're correct. They're all a part of the story. While we and our Ralseis have been having so much fun with expanding on the world of Deltarune, Ralsei has seen time and time again that the worlds that we visit on for all of our lives, we eventually move on. We move on from one world and move on to the next. And Ralsei is bracing himself for the inevitable. But Susie's monologue in chapter 3 clears up his mind with the idea of that, no one's getting thrown away. not you, not me, not Chris. This is not expanding to just Darkners, but Susie is also talking about herself, literally everyone a part of this world. We will not forget everyone. We will not forget the world of Deltarune. Do not forget. And I think what ties all of this together, the most beautiful message of all time throughout all my searching, is the end of that stream. The world is as big as you want it to be. Where will you go next? With everything I've been talking about, this is very clearly Ralsei playing as Azrael. This is our friend telling us that, hey, Undertale, Deltarune, every single world that we've been to can be expanded upon. We are not unbound by just anything. We can just go on forever. And the moment I keep thinking about this, I think about my own worlds. I think about the worlds that I've made and the places that I'm at, the places that I'm in, like within fiction. And I think about, I think about this where I'm at right now. I'm in rock bottom. And with the whole idea of the world being as big as you want it to be, this whole idea of rock bottom, there being a definite end, I don't think there is an end. I think I could just keep iterating on this forever and ever and ever, and I will never truly reach it. And I feel like that can expand in all journeys in art. We can just keep on adding more and more and more to the things we're making until eventually we gotta let it out. We can't just be stuck in our own little zone for the rest of our life. Eventually, we gotta shine light on all this. I think we all need to embrace our own rock bottom and make it anew, change it. We can change this. We can change every single world that we're in, and we're not bound by anything. We can continue on. We can continue on, and eventually you'll get out of it. We'll get out of it. All of us. There's definitely more that I'm forgetting because there's just so much that I had to have missed something. So I'll be sure to flash it on screen in case that's the case. But yeah, I truly think that this is where it all ends. So yeah, this encompassing message of art being real, of copies being monochrome, iterating on a pre-existing art to make your own. All of this, it is such a beautiful message that makes art so important in the world that we live in. And it is something that I will never forget. I won't forget this, and I hope you won't either. And yeah, Deltarune's prophecy, this story, this piece of writing that's getting us all worried, especially with the final prophecy, I'm not too worried about it anymore because we can tell our own story. And I'm ready to tell my own. Thank you.
Then our journey is now through. All